What's up, everybody? This is Ed. We're back on another video. Surprise! I know you all are not used to seeing my face. This may be something I'll be doing a little bit more going forward. I'm probably gonna be doing more reaction videos, but today what we're gonna do is a play-by-play. So this is gonna be an interesting one. I know some of you all are probably already watching this. This is still live, but I wanted to kind of go in the back of it. Um, and part of me don't even believe she's the one that actually did the petition. So I'm gonna hear the beginning with you because I didn't really hear the beginning. I've only listened to about 25 minutes of it. I can start going in. I'm not gonna do that. So with that being said, we're gonna jump right into this because this is really just an experiment for me right now. So let's see what's gonna happen. I could give my initial thoughts on it, but I want to let what's being said speak for itself. So press 1 if you can hear the audio. And yeah, and press 3 if you want me to show my face more.
I'm doing
And you can hear the audio. Press 0 if you can't hear the audio.
so well. Thank you so much for having me up and inviting me to a formal panel. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes, we really appreciate the opportunity.
Don't get me started on this. Let me do this. I want to do this first. Kevin Samuels petition. For those of y'all don't know, there's a petition out here on change.org for Kevin Samuels. Now, we're going to assume that this person is the person that, is saying the Goldie Jones channel started this petition. So I want to read to you all what the petition is. I'm not going to promote it, but I want to read it to you so you all understand what she actually said. So a couple of things with Goldie. Goldie was on Kevin's channel. We've already kind of, well, I'm not gonna, you'll hear what she has to say, but she's already been spoken to by some of us. And yeah. So anyway, let's read to it. With the rise in violence against Black women, I don't even know if that's factually correct as far as the rise of against, because Black women, let them tell it, they're always being violent. So I don't even know if that's factually correct. There's no context to that, but whatever. With the rise in violence against Black women, specifically African American women, YouTuber Kevin Samuels has galvanized a community of men of all races and nationalities in the outspoken hatred of women. That speaks for itself as far as what she thinks about it. Removing this voice of divisive vitriol will allow women to feel safer, not only in public spaces, but in online communities as well. Shout out to Ramil because he's covered this already, but I'm doing it now. Freedom of speech is a constitutional right for each of us. Glad she understands that. However, when that speech is loaded with thoughts and threats of violence towards women, manipulation of young women, and even fantasies of death to women, that freedom of speech becomes a prison for all people those thoughts and desires are intended to isolate. Acts of violence, sexually predatory behavior, and even death has been documented as stemming from rhetoric Mr. Samuels and his community of followers has spewed in just the last 12 months alone. She won't provide anything when it comes. This is what this interview is supposed to deal with, and so I'm not even going to go into what my thoughts on this is. I just want you all to understand what she said, what she got typed under her name. Women feel unsafe in the presence of men who identify with this ideology and have even been berated while going about their daily lives. Yes, even while at work, with criticisms that have been spoken directly from Mr. Samuel's mouth. The very words that were spoken on social media platforms have permeated even every facet of daily life for unsuspecting women. Removing this leader of hatred against women will bring reprieve for us all. Let's give you some. Yeah. Now, one comment that jumps out. One comment is saying, "Have you one woman? Have you realized that that white men, Asian men, and Latino men who talk about their counterparts this way are deleted or removed from social media. They do this to protect their women and their community. People don't care to protect black women and black community, which is why he doesn't get blocked for saying what he says. That's actually a documented lie. The manosphere is much more vast in the white sectors because that occupies generally all men than in the black sector. That's actually factually not true. He should be removed for this degrading comments and treatment of women. YouTube should not condone this type of nonsense. So keep in mind that they talk about that they are that she's for freedom of speech, but at the same time, that's just playing lip service to it. Shout out to Xander with a Z with the $20 super chat. Make sure you all support the Cash App as well. Let me get that going in case you all don't know. So yeah, this is gonna be fun. I'm doing reaction style. I wanted to see how viable this would be with StreamYard. It looks like it's looking good because I'm gonna react to quite a few different things. So shout out with Blackfoot for the $5 super chat. I was just going through the vid and was hoping you do a play-by-play. Yeah, man, I had to, and I had to do this live because I have thoughts about just even her even doing an interview, them doing an interview with her. But I'm gonna leave. I actually might leave that for another video because I just want you all to hear what was said, what she put, and then also what was said. So with that being said, let's jump into this. I'm gonna speed this up too. So let me know if this is too fast for some of you all. I'm going to do it at 1.5. I think it should be fine, though. Say too fast if it's too fast.
We believe this is your first panel that you've been on since you actually started the petition, or actually since the petition blew up. And so thank you for allowing us this opportunity to interview.
Appreciate Smurgo for the $5 super chat. No, I haven't seen that. Primetime VA, shout out to the $5 super chat. Primetime VA, go in there and do Control F and do like abort or abort, anything that'll focus that for you because it's a lot of comments, and screenshot that shit. Screenshot it. Go in there, and any of y'all, he said that she's in there talking about aborting black male babies. I haven't seen that, but I haven't looked at the comments. I'm just going with what my subscribers has said. Go in there and screenshot that. So any of you all, go in there and do that. Y'all Google how to screenshot on your computer. If y'all see it on your phones, how to do it on your phone. And then email it to me. I don't like making accusations like that unless I got evidence. All right, let's go.
You and get your side of things. We really appreciate that.
Oh, you are so welcome. There is no other place I would have gone first than with you two.
Of course not, because this is because they're a safe space for this type of bullshit.
Absolutely.
Which is I'm gonna have a conversation with Kevin and the habitual line steppers, because if you got somebody that's being allowed to be a part of habitual line steppers and shit like this gets allowed. And these are the same people talking about, well, we don't want to really bring up Kevin Samuels a lot. Well, that's true, but this is how, no. Like that type of, and I'm going to tell you something. I don't believe in doxing under any conditions, but this should qualify as the face your accuser. Kevin is being essentially accused of hate speech. And I think a man has a right to face their accuser. Now, Kevin probably doesn't care because honestly, what a lot of people don't understand is this is just all this is showing that black women can't be critiqued. This is just showing the mental illness in the black community. That's all this is highlighting. This is not really highlighting. This isn't making Kevin look bad, because people forget there's more women. There's a lot more women that support Kevin that don't. This is just, but let's go. Shout out to Sam I Am for the $5. Shout out to Will for the $5. Let's see. Will Brown with the $5 super chat. Shout out to Black Huru with the super chat. You know, so you had a black woman interview a black woman who's criticizing the act of a black man, and you are expecting honest. No, I'm not expecting. Of course, I'm not expecting that, Black Huru. But there would be nothing to break down. Now, shout out to Pink Book Lessons. She's pretty as honest and straightforward as they come. Love Dorsey is too. But no, I understand your play by fair stuff. And by the way, this is the stuff that makes it hard for me to even, you know, advocate for women having a fucking opinion, because stupid shit like this happens. So now I got to get off my ass and I got to actually cover it, because I don't want to look like I'm ignoring stuff. So congratulations. That's another reason why I'm doing this too. Anyway, let's go.
Absolutely love it, and we are so excited to hear from you and hear your commentary as it relates to this petition that has been created and is causing such a stir in this space.
Honey, let's talk about some of the places the petition has made it to. It's made it to Tasha K. It's made it to Rolling Out. Made it to O'Shea Duke Jackson.
First of all, this shit, like, I want you to understand how this is a game. The way they talking about it is like this is a fucking game. This is some Emmett Till shit she did. She accused a black man of basically eliciting violence against black women. That's what she did. This is not fucking funny. This is not a game. This is, they make it sound like this is some attention. This is, all right, let me let it play.
It's made it to Sandra Rose. It's made it to Fly Nubian Queen.
The Jasmine brand. It's made it to the show with Vivica Fox. I can't think of the Fox Soul. Yes. I've seen it just about every place you can imagine. Everywhere I go, I'm hearing people talk about it. It's made it to the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. Like, everybody has something to say about it. So, honey, it is causing quite the stir.
Well,
yes.
And notice how nobody ever think about it. Remember what they just said. They said she's the first person to, this is propaganda. She said she's the first, this breakdown is the first person group to talk to them. Why hasn't nobody else reached out to her? Because women don't got to stand, like Dennis Sperling has talked about. It was Dennis Sperling that's been doing posts saying women can basically attack men and throw any accusation out on men to destroy a man's reputation, and they don't got to stand on it. Shout out to $5 Dartman and Dark Knight Mentality. She's getting what she wanted. The platform spew these feminist victim of talking points. She never addresses the claim of the petition. Yeah, I was at the tail end of it, so I don't think she will either. But yeah, the point is she doesn't have to stand on anything she says in that petition.
No, that. Thank you so much, ladies, for sharing that with me. I had no idea about 75% of those things, those places that you all named. I really didn't know.
Absolutely, that's how big it is. Because there's a lot of dissenting rhetoric as it relates to the petition.
Not dissenting rhetoric. This is a lie. Shout out to D Rock Den for the $5 Cash App. This is a lie. The stuff she's saying is not true. It's a lie. Absolutely, it's a fucking lie.
And then I've seen some people supporting it. So I think there are some mixed views as it relates to this petition. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. Danny, you want to kick it off, or you want me to?
You can, but I do want to cite the last I checked, which was very late last night. The petition was up to 14,172 signatures.
Wow.
So yeah, just wanted to let you guys know that.
Thank you for those statistics, because the very first video that I watched on the petition, I think, maybe that was Goldie's video. There was a video that I watched early on regarding
Concrete is actually excited. Slightly. If you've heard her talk, you can tell that she's excited. Not overly, but she's excited. Which just tells you the cognitive dissonance. I'm curious to see what's going to happen on the open panel platform. I'm not going to be on it because I'll leave that for you all to deal with. But yeah. If Jessica X would have did some bullshit like this, you already know they niggas would have the teachy torches. Jessica's smart enough to not do something like this. Or if she does, she's actually going to defend Kevin. Not do it and then be on some puff piece shit, which is what this sounds like.
The petition. And it was citing that it was at like 1,500. And then the next one that I saw was citing that it was at like 5,000. So with that being said.
And by the way, that's not just me speeding it up.
It is obvious that the buzz around the petition is creating, more people flocking to it and signing the petition as well. So
you know what I wish? I wish Kevin would show up. I wish Kevin would just show the fuck up on that open panel. Or at least I don't know where Obsidian is. Hopefully Obsidian's all right, but you know, I wish somebody would show the fuck up on that panel. Like, and then watch how they get a deer in the fucking headlights. Shout out to Black Huru. This is a prime example of why I'm suspicious of the presence of black women in the black man's. Well, you know, it keeps some things going. So, you know, we deal with it. This is something we can't deal with.
Let's just start with the preliminary information relating to the petition. I'm going to ask the obvious question. Goldie, and I know you've talked about this extensively on your channel, and we will be dropping your link to your channel. And I'm going to ask the mods if you don't mind sharing Goldie's link, because she does have her own channel, the Goldie Jones channel. But
meaning, which goes to show they support what she's doing. And
I want to know, like, what was your reason for creating this petition? Just plain and simple.
Thank you so much, Concrete. Can you hear me? I told y'all that I got the babies together, and here he is. Right.
He like, that's what you thought, Mama. We can hear you fine.
Okay. So I operate a small space on a social media platform where I interact with about 15 to 1600 ladies, kind of like on a daily basis or so. And we talk about relationships and dating and leveling up and, you know, all of the girly things, right? Makeup, clothes, hair, all of that stuff.
Yes, all the bullshit. Let's go.
And so many of the girls had, you know, begun sharing experiences from recent dating, you know, interactions that they've had with men on the phone and in person. And one thing rang true with most of those experiences that these ladies were sharing is that there was this surgence of like this red pill, quote unquote, ideology that was kind of spilling over into real life. I know that the YouTube space is a little more.
Yes, that's the idea. The idea that we're not just doing this for our health.
Advanced than what's happening in day-to-day life. So I was really surprised to hear that these disastrous dates were, you know,
they're disastrous dates. Watch the flamboyant language she uses.
With these guys were happening with men that belong to the red pill community. And after listening further and hearing more about those experiences, they also followed Kevin Samuels. That was like the common theme between all of them. I had
Oh man. So you know, Kevin Samuels is gonna be anybody you want him to be. Now all of a sudden he's Darth Sidious of the red pill. Kevin Samuels fundamentally promotes getting black people together. Like, if you think like this, you know who the fuck Kevin Samuels is right now. Kevin Samuels is the He Who Remains from Loki. He's Jonathan Majors. What did Jonathan Majors say? He said, if you think I'm bad, you wait till you see my variants. Like, and to be fair, I'm gonna keep it real with you. There's actually a woman, her name is Quirky, light-skinned chick. She's got like 457,000 subscribers. I also to a lot of her videos. I just got sucked in. And she does reaction videos. So geekdom, a lot of different stuff. And then she pulled a couple of Kevin Samuels stuff, and she absolutely, and not just agrees to just agree and say, I may show that at the end just to kind of leave this on some positive shit, but let's go.
Had those conversations with women who had been on dates with guys and how odd those experiences were, but then even shared more conversations with other women about how their self-esteem had been impacted, and just their view of themselves and self-worth and confidence had been impacted.
Can you give us an example of what actually happened, not some I feel bad so therefore woe is me bullshit?
By opinions that were kind of floating around in the space, you know, about rating yourself, what they felt they were eligible for in life because of how they looked, or if they had an education or not, or if they had children or not, or just so many different things. And I felt so bad for
God forbid a nigga asks you if you have kids. Holy shit. She is an enemy to the black family if she wants to cancel Kevin Samuels. Yes, my child, Night King.
For these ladies who felt trapped in the opinions of others, and
trapped in the opinions. You mean accountability? You mean dudes are? See, this is like, okay. Let me tell you something. You all remember when I shared Spencer? You know, the dude. Shout out to Pocket Watching by JT, because I will be promoting him a lot more. As he's a black man that does a lot of that, you know, calling out shit. And shout out to Glenn and Cameron, who I've been supporting, and shout out to Spencer. And they call shit out as a mechanism of educating the market or whatever market they want, because ultimately they want better products, better services, better practices, because the law isn't doing it. So that, you know, and shout out to Aqua Techie with the $5 super chat. And that's the goal, and that's the goal of what we do. Ultimately, you have dudes that are not even having the conversation. They're just saying, I'm going to play the game like the game needs to be played. And they're going to tell you what you want to hear to get what they want out of you. The Derrick Jackson type of shit. The pastor type of shit. Now, shout out to Black Huru for the additional $2. You know, Kevin Samuels is where the dreams of homely Black women go to die. Absolutely. Kevin Samuels is your exit interview. This is why you're being fired. And this is what you need to work on. But, you know, like I said, you know, nothing, like, again, you want to, I want an example of what actually happened on these dates, not just you. Because if this happened to these women, they're going to tell you the story, not some, oh, like, shit, it sounds like you just listened to Kevin Samuels' video and you made something out of it. But let's go.
A community that most women don't know about, you know. So I decided to.
They don't need to know about it. But at the end of the day, we're here. We have no problem talking to women. We've done it before. And by the way, shout out to Ron Wills for Women. You have a lot of shows that are like BGS used to have BGS for women. You have a lot of places that, because keep in mind, notice, I want you to notice something. They said they went on dates with these guys. So these guys can't be complete losers. See, that's the argument, right? Everybody is an incel that must believe in this content. Shout out to Corey Bentley. Much appreciated. And make sure you hit up the Cash App as well. Hold on one second. Something's going on with my I don't want this to start fucking up. All right, let's go.
This little petition, because I was saying to myself and to the ladies, if something is,
and press 5 if you like me showing my face, if you like seeing my facial reactions while I react to this. Notice how you can actually, you have no idea what I had to go through to make this look like I'm actually looking at it, you know, while I can still look at the screen. Just to let you know about some of how the magic to make. I actually have a 10-pound, I basically have a TV table, like and I have a 10-pound weight, and then I have one of my my iPad stand, and then I have like literally like probably got to be 18 years old 18 years old camera that I'm using. So I would throw this shit together to experiment with this. So press 5 if you think it looks good. Shout out to Good Men. All I heard is the woman I trick into leveling up. The women I trick into leveling up are experiencing some real life consequences of Kevin Samuels' rhetoric and decided to do this. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Let's continue.
Going on and you don't agree with it, or you feel like it's making you feel endangered, or you're feeling less safe because of
you haven't given any example of somebody feeling less safe. What you're talking, all the shit you're doing is talking about what people can't get do anymore. Dudes are asking questions that are qualifying questions. That's all it is. Like, when I make calls, one thing I teach people when they make calls as far as sales calls, I let them know you can hang up on these motherfuckers. If they ask too many questions, I ain't talking about women, but like when you're prospecting people, if they ask too many questions, just say, don't even say thank you, have a nice day. I used to do that. Just say take care, bye. Because thank you, have a nice day gives you too long. Take care, next. That's all you got to do. So like you're qualifying them. They're not qualified. They don't need to understand that. BGS said, I showed up in the chat to feed the floor. See, these folks think Kevin is bad. And keep in mind, Kevin's got only one child, which is his daughter. BGS, we see, shout out to Black Huru, 4 daughters, BGS, 2 daughters. You act like we ain't got dudes that ain't got investment. Like, yeah, like, come on, man. BGS showed up. BGS is like, Kang the Conqueror. Anyway, let's go.
These opinions that are going around, you know, you can do something about it. It doesn't mean that, you know, that those opinions will go away, but you can make your opinion known too about how you're being impacted by the actions and words of other people and how your daily life.
She's literally saying black men having standards is detrimental to black women's health.
It's being affected by that. So I created the petition and shared it to my group, and I got about 200 signatures, and I just forgot about it. I didn't share it on my public Facebook page. I didn't share it in many other spaces.
But again, this is why it's important for what you put in it. The petition's not the problem. You accuse the man of basically eliciting violence against black women. Do you understand that Kevin could sue you for slander? Do you realize that Tasha K is most likely going to have to pay $70,000? And apparently, and look, I like Tasha K, and I'm very annoyed that I don't give a fuck what Tasha K did. It's Cardi B. Fuck Cardi B. Black women should be coding up for Tasha K. Period. Y'all being right generally doesn't matter. So whatever, but they saying that Tasha K is moving money from like to her husband, which means she's most likely going to seriously have to pay. Shout out to Cornelius for the $5 Cash App. Have to pay that. So there's real consequences to this shit, and quite frankly, this is the type I wouldn't put it past Kevin to sue Goldie, because shit like that has consequences. That's like the language you put in there. Like, it's one thing. You don't even have the videos to even support what you're talking about. It's a difference if you have video evidence of it. Kevin stuff is everywhere. All it is, these people are reacting to his damn viral videos. Come on. If that's what he was doing, they would have been said that.
Side of that little area that I was speaking to ladies in. And about 2.5 months after I created that petition, I got an email from a young lady by the name of Cassandra, and she had shared the petition on her platform. And I think a day after she shared that, she sent me the email, I started getting all of these crazy emails. And
black women believe Tasha K sided with Kevin, because they expected Tasha K to drill Kevin. Like, apparently they want to act like she always does, but whatever.
Comments on old videos, because I really hadn't been active on my YouTube channel, and inboxes on Instagram and Facebook from all these strangers regarding the petition, and that kind of brought us to where we are now.
Shout out to Tac,
wow,
man.
Thank you for all the background. Yeah, very interesting, and thank you for getting us up to speed as it relates to how it started and how we end up here. I'm sorry, go ahead, Dan.
Right. So Goldie, we do have a couple of tough questions. We didn't want to.
We'll see. I'll be the judge of that.
We wanted to conduct a fair interview, but we definitely wanted to hear it from your side.
Shout out to Cornelius Bella with the $5, and shout out. Well, yeah, man, you did the one in the Cash App too, man. So appreciate the you. So he's paying his taxes. Shout out to the professor. He's actually, I'm going to be promoting that video he's got talking about Kevin, because I didn't know he was one of Kevin's clients. I think, that needs to be out there too, his abilities as a image consultant. And I think that was a great interview. Shout out to Meech. I see you in there.
But I went through quite a few online communities to see what people were saying in regards about the petition. A lot of people said you did this for a clout chase. You did this to blow your channel up. What do you say?
I don't even give a fuck about that. You notice how the people I'm listening to, they not even talking about that. Ramil didn't really mention that either. We give a fuck if it's accurate, but that is a possibility. But see, the problem is, you saw what BGS said in the chat. See, that shit's not going to hold up. And by the way, it's definitely not going to hold up as a woman is not showing their face. Shout out to Big Discussions, the good doctor, the professor. Absolutely, man. I mean, your stream that was a good stream. I believe in sharing. Like, you notice how I'm one of a few YouTubers that probably don't share my own shit on my community tab, because I know if y'all want to listen to what the fuck I got to say, you know where it is. And I think more of us should start doing that, especially when there's great discussions.
Regards to that.
To be honest,
by the way, Artist and MC is going to be on it probably an hour on the Geekdom Talk.
I created the YouTube channel that I had. Y'all know my baby on my lap now. I created the YouTube channel that I had just to kind of speak to that small group of women that I told you that I work with every day. Okay, baby. So I really had no plans for that channel to like be big or kind of take off. It was just something extra to do with those women. So the idea of clout chasing and wanting to get attention, like that's kind of not me.
I honestly I don't believe that's what it is, because I don't think she thought it through. I don't think she thought that through. I don't think she thought it through that much, to be honest. So I do believe her when she says that.
I really like playing the background. I don't like being out in the public, kind of. So I'm really surprised, to be honest, about how.
Oh well, you done fucked up.
I've handled things so far because I really don't like the attention, and I really don't like. I just really don't like the attention. But once the petition kind of took off, I had to speak a little bit more. So I've been speaking more, but that was never really my goal.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. I have to say,
this goes to show you how much people throw a black man under the bus. And see, this is actually the perfect example of accountability, because now you got to be accountable to what you said, and the shit that you said was very inflammatory. You're 38 years old. You're not a young. You're not like in your 20s. You're an adult.
Based off of like our interactions with you, I can personally say that I didn't see you as like an attention seeker. So thank you for giving your perspective as it relates to any underlying reason that you might have done this. I know we have a few super chats, so we'll pause for just a second to read those, and then I have a follow-up question for you.
Well, what I was going to do about the super chats, I was just going to give everybody a shout out in the chat, so we won't be disruptive to the interview process. A lot of the stuff that they have in their super chats, we do have those in our questions already. So yeah, we'll
highlight them, and then we will
thank you in the chat. So we're not trying to be rude.
We just have a lot of questions.
Yes, so we want to keep the flow of the interview going.
Shout out to Gabe. Gabe asked the question we all want to know: how is what he does make somebody less safe? I want to highlight it because we always give Gabe a hard time.
But shout out to Gabe A. Thank you for your super chat.
It's nice to know the smoke goes both ways.
You covered. Gotcha.
Absolutely. I do want to say, I know, like, basically listening to what you initially explained regarding your reasoning behind the petition is very admirable. But I want to know that when we talk about, black men.
Admirable. Concrete, man. This is why I want BGS to bring his BGS for women up for real. Because some of these motherfuckers, they done forgot.
And just speaking of the space, which myself and Danny, we've been in this space for, several years and just kind of become familiar with the rhetoric of the space, as well as a lot of the men that are, within the space. I want to know, like, you were talking.
Rhetoric is a negative connotation. It basically implies that we're just talking shit and nothing we're saying actually is, it's just a narrative.
About essentially empathizing with those women who you connected with through your social media, but do black men not? These
women, we don't know. She could be making that shit up, to be honest with you. And I don't put it past Goldie. Talk about 1,500. I doubt maybe Nicole Michelle has a group that large.
Have the right to ensure that their voices are also heard by way of black male media. And I know that
they can. So okay. Voices can be heard, but that doesn't mean you fucking lie. That doesn't mean you get to say whatever the fuck you want to say. The fuck?
Kevin has now gone mainstream, which gives black men an even larger voice as it relates to what they deal with in the day-to-day dating world. But in your opinion, do you not feel that they also have a right to ensure that their voice and their experiences are heard, on a large?
Bitch, oh my God. So in Concrete's world, you're supposed to, Concrete's 38 years old, probably 39 at this point. You're supposed to magically forget about Ricky Lake, Oprah, Montel Williams that cater to women. You're just supposed to forget about all of that shit. That was in the 90s. You're supposed to forget about reality TV, which made black men look fucking incompetent. You're just supposed to forget all this media, books, TV shows, the initial social media websites, which are funded by. You're supposed to forget all of that shit under the prem, because black men in the last really 5 years, really 3. See, this is that victim bullshit. Black women completely overwhelm black men when it comes to actual media penetration.
Large platform.
Yeah, I think it's important that everyone is given space to speak. Of course, I agree with that. I think that there is, a slight misunderstanding regarding freedom of speech and what that actually is, what it entails, and the responsibility that we must show to each other in order to be afforded that right. When we have freedom of speech, it's really easy to cross the line into hate speech, and that's kind of, what. There's a few things. I'll go back to those things to the petition, but there's a few things that kind of underlay my decision to create the petition. But when that speech becomes negative, like I said, compels or makes women feel unsafe, or it's promoting.
You live in the motherfucking United States of fucking America. You're in literally probably one of the most safest places on the fucking planet. The fuck are you talking about? Now y'all see what the fuck I look like when I'm going off, behind the scenes.
Negativity, violence, nastiness, abuse against women, and especially women of a particular demographic, then that's when I think we need to step back and take an honest and objective look at what's actually being said, and why we support it, and if we can really think about the people that not only are impacted, the demographic that is impacted.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I might need a shout. I might need to go to shout out to the ABC store in North Carolina, because they regulate liquor stores in North Carolina. Yeah, I might need something, because I don't smoke. I'm in favor of every speech that makes freedom of speech and seem like bad idea. All speech to me is fine. Yeah. And you notice, and yes, they did like a stream, a petition on Cynthia G. And even David Carroll said he's staying right with Cynthia G, because he said you niggas need to deconstruct the arguments, because he supports hate speech. He said he'll stand with the Klan for their right to say what they want to say. The problem is not so much freedom of speech. The problem is when people try to suppress other people's speech at the expense of free speech. And that is what technically she's doing, and she's attempting to do. That's the reality of the situation when you try to suppress certain things in others. And you're using free speech as a way of trying to suppress what Kevin is saying by making what he says is free speech. And you have zero of anything to say that. And that's my issue. And my thing is, you notice that I don't sit there and say Cynthia G shouldn't speak. I hold people accountable for listening to her. Because I'm saying if you listen to what she says, that means you agree with it. So you don't get to say that you four black people coming together and then try to hide behind it. She's holding black men accountable. Shout out to Gina with the $10 super chat. That's how I go about dealing with it.
By that speech, but the hearers and doers of that speech. I really think that there's a fine line, and we have a responsibility to ourselves and to others to be honest about the reality of that.
Well, do you agree with any of Kevin Samuel's talking points?
I've never heard anybody say so much nothing.
Yeah, I have been on panels with you ladies before, and we've spoken specifically about Kevin. Y'all know that I liked Kevin then. I still like him now.
You like Kevin now, but you think that he is eliciting. Let me read this motherfucker one more time. We're gonna do an update reading. So this is what Goldie wrote on her shit. With the rise in violence against black women, specifically, or women, not black women, women, specifically African-American women, YouTuber Kevin Samuels has galvanized a community of men of all races and nationalities and outspoken hatred of women. Removing this voice of divisive vitriol will allow women to feel safer, not only in public spaces, but in online communities as well. freedom of speech is constitutional right for each of us. However, when that speech is loaded with thoughts and threats of violence towards women, manipulation of young women, and even fantasies of death to women, that freedom of speech becomes a prison for all people those thoughts and desires are intended to isolate. Acts of violence, sexually predatory behavior, and even death has been documented as stemming from the rhetoric Kevin Samuels, his community, and followers has spewed in just the last 12 months. And let me be clear, very clear here. When they were trying to say that the past was doing what happened when we called out Super Sly and other dudes and Jap when they were so we hold black men to the same standard. We hold black men. They didn't do a fucking petition. They were just talking shit internally. This is like a step way past. This is a big step past that. So now you got actual major media platforms doing that. This is why we jumped on them so much initially, because we said y'all could say some shit and not intend for some shit to happen, and then it happens, and then you can't control it. That's essentially is what's happened with her. And you cannot find one documented evidence of Kevin eliciting any of that behavior, his rhetoric being pinned to that. You can't. Kevin is not Trump. And even with Trump, there's only a couple of statements you could try to use, but you can't even use that with Kevin at all. And Kevin has been the most vetted person out here. This is bullshit. And for concrete and like I know I'm kind of doing a play-by-play, so this takes longer, but goddamn, y'all ain't really said shit yet. Shout out to no one, freedom for me, but not for thee. All I hear. Absolutely. Shout out to the $10.
And I listen to his videos, his streams a lot. They're very entertaining, and I do take away some beneficial information from most of them.
So basically, hate speech is entertaining to you, because that's essentially what you're accusing Kevin of. Eliciting violence against women is entertaining to you, and you pull some good points out of eliciting violence against women. Are you fucking stupid? This is that double talk bullshit. Fuck.
But
so you're saying current day, you still watch Kevin?
Yeah, I watch Kevin.
I'll give Danielle credit for asking that.
Not too
really.
I don't watch him as much as I used to. But
that's Danielle. That's Danielle. Danielle knows that's bullshit.
I'm sub to Kevin, and I've seen him in the last.
You're still. Oh. I blame myself for taking this chick seriously.
2 weeks or so. I've seen him in the last 2 weeks or so.
Even that baby realized that's bullshit.
On the stream, I can't remember which one, but yeah. I mean, I'm not against to listening to him, and I'm not against to listening to opposing perspectives.
So you're not against listening. You're not against listening to him, but you did a change.org petition. Oh shit! This is my fault. Oh, this is my fault for taking this. This is what I blame myself. I blame myself. I actually thought she had something to say. That's my fault.
So yeah, and yeah. I do agree with some things he has said, but when we get.
I'm sorry. I'm not gonna agree with anybody. Once I demonstrated you do hate speech, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I fuck with O'Shea heavy, but one of the things that really annoys me is when O'Shea does a video with Cynthia G and he says that the shit she says is objective and there are some good points. I'm like, the fuck points does she have? Where are these fucking good points? I'm waiting for them. And I swear that annoys the shit out of me, man. I really does. I mean, he called the bullshit out later, but I hate that. I know what he's doing when he does that, like, because that's a YouTube method. I get it. It's a way. I get what he's doing, and I understand why he does it. But goddamn.
To other things I don't agree with. But that doesn't mean that I have to hate him or not like him or think he's scum of the earth. It just means that
but see, this goes to show you how lack of seriousness we got. All these fucking clubhouse streams, all this bullshit is just I really don't want to say it this way because there's a reason I don't like to show my face. But I gotta say, this is bitches that are fucking mad. Bitch, you're mad. You're mad. And it's like, yo, you're mad. And I don't give a fuck. Like I can't really say on air how much I don't give a fuck about how deep somebody is in their feelings. Because then it'll make me look bad. But shout out to SMV GRV1. But we're adults. Look, she's older than me. 38 years old. And I'm going to tell you, it's something about these 37 to 44-year-old females that are really extra like, what the fuck?
I don't agree. And I think that those statements, when internalized by the wrong people, can really be destructive.
So although
she ain't examined... that's what rhetoric is.
You think there's some truth to some, well, you agree with some of the things that he says. Is it that, and I'm just asking this as a clarifying question before I ask my question. It's although you agree with some of the things that he says, is it that you think that his message is somehow detrimental to women? Just for clarity.
Yeah, I think that.
Shout out to Steph is cold. Shout out to Steph is cold. I think I appreciate that $99. And I'm not saying this just because he gave the money. Y'all already know how I feel about Steph is cold. I actually heard Solo and a lot of folks talking. I ain't even gonna bring that up because somebody I'm not gonna bring that up because somebody did like a montage and I saw that shit was funny to me, but I'm not gonna bring that up. What I will say is that as an internet marketer, I have some. Stephen Skull got his internet marketing game on point too. A lot of how he does his funnels and stuff, and he actually gives real value for what he does. Not only does he show the value, he actually gives it. So, and look, I'm not saying to not fuck with other dating coaches. That's not what I'm saying, but I do like to promote the people I actually think gives a lot of the help. And Stephen's Code is one of those guys, but a lot of y'all put me on the Stephen's Code. So you already know. Make sure y'all sub to Stephen's Code. Yeah, last video he did, I think, was the video talking about, Stephen's Code did a video talking about a female saying that UK bitch talking about you should worship the ground she walks on. So you already know Stephen's Code only does 13-minute videos, so you already know you're gonna get some fire with that shit. But anyway, I appreciate that, man. I definitely appreciate that. I know somebody's got to do this bullshit.
I think that. Okay. I think the elements of his message.
For those of y'all that act like the once dudes blow up, they get brand new. Y'all be surprised at how many people actually still listen to folks or catch to see what's going on in the I don't like to call it the lower levels, but you know how it is. Because once you get bigger, it's not so much you have to change. You have to be more disciplined and modulate like how you communicate. You can't just fly off and say anything. That's why, for the most part, I want to grow, but at the same time, I'm gonna have to discipline myself a little bit more than I want to. And there's channels that are smaller than mine that have been knocked the fuck out. Because people get triggered. And by the way, I gotta tell y'all, real talk, like I rarely do 180s on things, but once y'all started talking shit about TikTok, and I looked up Myron Gaines and all of them and from Fresh and Fit. Yo, the hateful shit that they be saying about them over some common sense shit, these motherfuckers lose their mind. So yeah, y'all might be right about that red pill on TikTok shit. It may be on there, but I don't think you can really build a channel on there. You might be right about that. So I'm going to have to redraw that drawing board. I'll be talking mess, but I rock with you, Ed. Yeah, I mean, look, Jake One, look, you ain't got it as bad as Smurgo has. I've threatened to block Smurgo a couple of times. And he think I'm playing. Like, I am playing, but not really. So you ain't even gotten that yet, Jaquan. So it is what it is.
Can be destructive to a certain demographic, and I'm talking specifically Black women. I think that Black women kind of get the most criticism from him and his followers.
That's because he's talking to Black people. But Kevin has given plenty of smoke to white women and Latin women, and in fact, he don't even let non-Black women talk shit about Black women. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
And yeah, I think that, women in general can benefit from some of the things he says, but I think that elements of his message can really be destructive when aimed towards Black American women in particular.
Thank you. I find that interesting.
She didn't say shit.
Another question, but now I want to go in a different direction. So I find that interesting that you find
all she's doing is repeating the goddamn petition.
Elements of his message can be destructive or detrimental to, African American women. Where
I gotta give let me make this bigger so y'all can see, because I want to give this guy credit. Because we always jump on Gabe, but I had to give credit to Gabe A. Gabe A wrote in their video, she subbed to Kevin Samuels. She watches Kevin Samuels, but she believes that he places Black women in an unsafe situation. There's a disconnect there. Remember, when Gabe got a problem, Gabe go hold to that fucking problem. The nigga ain't really an engineer, god damn it. Protecting the sanctity of engineers.
Whereas the premise, I guess, of like a lot of the rhetoric in this space is to hold women accountable. So I want to know what your thoughts are about Black women being held accountable, and if the men, like in your personal circle.
Fuck that bullshit. I want to hear what justify what you said. You only got to provide evidence. Just say what you've heard. You have yet to say that.
If you see examples of men, within your own life.
And by the way, y'all, I haven't seen this part. I don't know. I saw it from the back end.
Holding Black women accountable. So, what are your thoughts about his message? Not necessarily being of detriment, but kind of like holding a mirror up to Black women to say, this is the mess that you've created as a result of your actions, and you need to be held accountable for said actions. I'm not sure. Is that clear, or do you need me to clarify what I'm asking?
You're asking.
It's clear to people that at least have a middle school education.
Me, how do I feel about Kevin in particular, but men holding women accountable for their actions?
Yeah.
Correct?
Essentially, yes, absolutely.
Okay, and then you also spoke about men in my everyday life and kind of.
Yeah, do you see those examples? Right.
Okay, yeah, I think that.
People, you say everyday life as if we're just talking shit on YouTube and it don't matter. YouTube has a TV channel now. What the fuck? YouTube was spread all across the fucking NBA finals. Go to YouTube TV. What are you talking about? We're not just making this shit up.
From my perspective, the man is the leader, he's in charge, right? It starts with him and it kind of ends with him.
Man, you don't believe that shit. You see, when she says that shit, that's a smoke screen. Because what she really means, because they're in charge, that means everything's their fault. I know that because I've heard what she said about having children. She believes women don't get pregnant, men get them pregnant. And women don't have kids, men force kids on them. That's what she believes. So don't fall for that shit.
I think that women can and should, respectfully, state what it is that they want and need from situations or interactions with men. But I think that men are ultimately, quote unquote, in charge. Okay. With that being in charge,
she doesn't believe that.
There comes a huge responsibility.
See, what did I didn't. I told you I haven't seen this. That's that reverse bullshit. Yeah, my Cash App is in the ticker. But that's it. Artie Igmore.
A lot of times we talk about submission, women being submissive to men, but with that, men have a huge responsibility.
You see a huge responsibility. As Donald Trump would say, huge. That's not the society we live in. Women, we have permission based. Leadership is not permission based. You can't say that I'm the leader, but you can pick and choose when the fuck. Think about it. Think of how Black people raise their children. Think of how Black women raise their kids. There is no. It's a lot of do as I say, not as I do. It's a because I said so, not no. See, but you wouldn't know this if you haven't heard her already.
And creating the environment for the woman to be submissive and to feel safe enough to kind of turn her.
See, hold on. Let me rewind that for a second.
We talk about submission, women being submissive to men, but with that, men have a huge responsibility in creating the environment for the woman to be submissive and to feel safe enough to kind of turn her, quote unquote, power or safety over to the man and trust that he will honor that, you know. So
shout out to D-Rock Dan for the $5. Shout out to Mr. Green for the $5. I'm not saying your full names because I know some of y'all don't like that. Shout out to Artie Igmore for $5. I much appreciate that. Shout out to Mr. Calhoun for the $5. Mr. Bellamy for the $5, I believe again. Cash out, much appreciated. See, that's the catch-22. And see, the problem is you don't feel safe because you're in a system of white supremacy. Black men are not going to be able to remove the system of white supremacy out of America. I'm just not even going to play games with you. That's never going to happen. Like, if anything, if Liberia was still under control of the United States, then that would be what generally the solution to that would be. So now it becomes who gets to determine you feeling safe? Feel. That means you feel. But you're fundamentally fucked up. So that's a hamster wheel that can never be dealt with, which is why you ain't got a fucking man now, but you got a baby screaming.
When it comes to men holding women accountable, I definitely think that's a thing. Men have held me accountable in my real life. I look to men to hold me accountable in my real life. It's just
you're a fucking adult. You shouldn't need men to hold you accountable.
I think that
you're 38.
Sentiment that I hear in the community that, you know, Kevin kind of belongs to or comes from is unbalanced in a way. I
don't believe she married. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I want to see the dude. I really don't believe that.
Describe the worst of us, the most egregious of us, you know, ladies, and then compare all women along that spectrum.
No, we're not. We're using statistics and fucking data. Your problem is with math. Why don't you do a change.org on mathematics and how it fundamentally is detrimental to black women? It hates black women. That's your issue. Math, statistical analysis.
And I think that's where the problem comes in at. We have some women that, you know, haven't had positive interactions with men or don't have men, you know, in their immediate circles, and therefore might not know how to interact with the man respectfully or something like that. But then we have those women who have positive and healthy relationships with men.
Let me say this. Let me be very clear here. I don't give a fuck about the excuses. I'm so goddamn tired of, you know, we just don't know. You're not stupid. Y'all are the most educated women, yet y'all don't know this, y'all don't know that. Man, get the fuck out of here with that. Man, get the fuck out of here with that.
And better understand men and are able to relate to them in a more respectful way. But these men focus heavily on those women who, you know, have not learned or have not been taught kind of the differences between a man and a woman and how.
Because that's statistically where the problem is. You're making it sound like we're making it bigger than what it is. We're not. And she talks about that when she talks about the bonnet thing. You can, man. See, her issue is she wants to protect her look good. And I already told y'all how I feel about motherfuckers want to protect their look good.
You know, healthy communication is fostered. So I think that's how Kevin's perspective, coming from the community that he comes from and all of that, is unbalanced. And it's
not. Kevin's 50-51. Honestly, it's really not your place as a 30. You don't know enough. You really don't. And Kevin's a lot more experienced than you. What are you talking about?
A whole demographic as one thing.
Jason Black would eat her ass alive.
Thank you, Goldie, for answering the question. Danny, it's on you. I just want to remind the mods, if they could please, if you guys could please drop Goldie's link throughout the stream, if you don't mind dropping the link to Goldie's channel during the interview.
Can I also say thank you for sharing my channel link. My channel is primarily for women. I don't mind the guys coming over because it does encourage healthy dialogue, you know, a balanced conversation.
Basically, healthy, balanced, all that. Basically, if you don't cater to my fucking feelings, and it's not like Candyland, candy cakes, rainbows, sweet pies, and happy lies, and you breathing empowerment and queen into me, don't join. I appreciate her for being candid, but that's what it is. Shout out to Soul Provider with the $5. Along with it, when Hakaj at it again, Storm from X-Men, need to watch out.
But the last few days I've been talking more about men, but you know, my message is really for women.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Excuse me. Goldie, would you credit women in their participation for Kevin Samuel's channel's acceleration to start on? Like, what
So we're gonna credit women for his acceleration. Watch, but we're galvanizing men to our violence.
about the thousands of women that actually support his message?
Good question.
What do you think about that?
It's an obvious question.
Yeah, I do think that women play a big part of it. But to be honest, Kevin comes from a really strong community anyway. So as long as the conversation was about women, I think that Kevin would have been just as popular either way.
Bitch, that's a lie. What?
But yeah, I think that women have been integral in his success, and
You
really,
know, when Chicagoans get a very heavy dose of bullshit, what happens is their voice starts petering. It's actually a Chicago thing. A lot of people don't know that, but that's kind of like a
help to take him to the next level. I think that it's not so much as just the women being there and kind of calling into the show and everything. I think that is how the women are treated that has really made his show and his popularity what it is.
That might be true, but at the end of the day, that's not really, because you're making it seem like most people are listening for entertainment value and listening to learn. I think there's a good percentage that is listening for entertainment value, but that type of shit, somebody would have did that before. Again, the issue, like, again, he's not treating these women any kind of way. He's not kissing your ass. There's a difference. He's basically he's kind of like what they have it on Snow White, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all. And then what happened when fuck the Maleficent shit with Angelina Jolie? I'm talking about the cartoon. What when the mirror said it was somebody else more fairer? Who? That bitch. And then she lost her mind when the mirror decided to not gas her ass up. That's what Kevin does. He's the logical reflection. BGS calls it the anima for dudes. It's literally, if you see the Loki show, you see how Loki and Sylvie interact. And the one, so, I mean, she just can't, like, again, it ain't even about trusting nobody. I mean, I'm responding to the interview. Like, I'm looking at Goldie's channel right now, and, let's take a time out for a second. Let's take a time out for a second. Let's do another screen share. Let's do another screen share, but this time we're going to do Goldie Jones' channel. So let's see, and so she's showing her face. So now you're seeing what she looks like. I'm not going to go through her Instagram because this is not what this is about. This is not what this is about. I will say her husband's nowhere to be found for her to be married. See, now she fuck it up because now she got all this shit on here. So now we can see where's this magical husband. But what I want to highlight, because I'm not trying to make, this isn't about really beating her up. This is really about the points. And what I want to highlight on her channel, let's look at some of the videos. So let's first start. I like, when I go through a channel, I like to see the most viewed. So the most viewed, let's start here. Let's start with the oldest, just to see how old her channel is. Okay, her channel, so she was putting stuff up about a year ago. So this is maybe like 4 or 5 months before, 6 months before we found her, maybe 7 months before she came across one of our stuff. Okay, so let's look at most viewed. This is why I made the petition. Some of you black men are embarrassing. You put why you made the petition in, like, there's nothing you have said so far about why you made the petition is different than what's actually in the petition. Guys are commenting on the petition based on what you actually wrote in the petition. And apparently I'm not going to say her location. But Yeah, I'm not gonna say that. Like, even though it's on Facebook and it's public information, I don't want to hear nobody talking about I'm trying to fight. Especially when these females are talking about like hate speech and violence. But see, black women don't understand that's actually a racial act when you do that. You are now putting black men in harm's way. And remember how much we jumped on April Mason for that shit. And you can very much tell, like, this is why I don't believe she's married. I don't believe she's married. I really don't. Maybe she is, and I'm just bullshit, but whatever. But let's go through the top 5, because I remember one dude did that, and that was really good. This is why I made the Petition. Some of you black men are so embarrassing. This sound, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think this may not initially been a clout chase move, but to be honest with you, you could have flipped and said, I'm gonna ride this. Black women are used to dysfunctional relationships that we can't identify abuse. That's not black men's fault. That's your fault. Having 1 million subscribers does not make domestic violence okay. So this is something she's hammering down on. So the video she did about why I made it was 6 days ago. The video about hammering domestic, having 1 million subscribers does not make domestic violence okay. So she's saying it should be okay. He's saying that it should be okay. This is 2 days ago, which would have been Friday. She made this. This is a 5 fucking hour stream. Black women are usually dysfunctional. This is 3 days ago. This shit does not sound like somebody that's trying to help women. The reason why so many black men feel pathetic is because this was 4 days ago. Black men say they're waking up. Why have you been asleep all along? Ha! And keep in mind, she's already talked in our space, so we've already gamed her up as far as what's going on. The reason why black men have been asleep all along is because black men fundamentally trust black women, because black men were raised by their mothers and the father wasn't around because the black woman pushed him out. But see, she likes to pretend. Pretend this shit does it. Then she's got older men are not created equal. This is acceptable. This is a year ago, 11 months ago. How to vet a high value man. We're supposed to assume she has one, so she's qualified to vet a high value man. You don't hear niggas talk about how to vet bad bitches that don't demonstrate they can get them. And even my open video to O'Shea Duke Jackson, are you proud of what you helped create? Now, I want you to keep in mind, this comes out of the mouth of a female that says he has some good talking points. He has, y'all can still hear me, right? He has some good talking point. He has, I still sub to his channel. You still engage with the content. This is coming from this same person now. And to be fair, I appreciate her she's showing her face. So yeah, I'm a 10. Yes, I'm prettier than Beyonce. Who gonna check me, boo? Response to Kevin Samuels. You all can go to the channel and make your assessment. She's prettier than Beyonce. He says Kelly's prettier than Beyonce. So the question is, are you prettier than Kelly? And keep in mind, let's talk about without no makeup or anything. Petition update, goal 100,000 and sentence enhancer for domestic violence crimes. This is 2 days ago. So apparently her response is black men are are violence against black women. This is her response. How to get your baby daddy to marry you. Again, I don't know if she's married. So really all of the stuff that's blown up is really blown up. Now it's some of the newer stuff. So basically, if you look into newest, black men, we were never with you. Hold on. Black men, we were never with you for your money. So how did we become? See, she's asking stupid ass shit. This is not designed to empower women. My open video, petition. None of this is about empowering women. Black men say they're waking up. This is why I made the petition. Malcolm and Marie, a tailor of a broken woman. Malcolm and Marie, happy Valentine. Let's scroll down a little bit. Yeah, like I'm looking at her entire channel. What is trustworthy value? Like these are a year old shit. How to vet a high value man, managing your emotional triggers, older men, how to get your baby daddy to marry. Like again, like are you serious? Like okay, let's go. Okay. Let's go back to this bullshit. I'm gonna do one more segment and then I'm chilling out. This chick ain't got nothing to say. She really don't. If y'all are new here, make sure you share, like, and subscribe. If you're new here, make sure you make your presence felt. Man, you'll get blocked saying some stupid shit like that, Rami. Notice how they ain't really gotten to no questions yet.
This hard-nosed guy that, you know, doesn't take any mess from the women and is gonna, you know, check them and hold them accountable and, you know, tell them about themselves, you know. So I think that a lot of guys and even a lot of women who are entertained by that tune in for.
That's not what Kevin promotes. Kevin promotes valuing yourself and getting the best value. That's not the same thing as what you're saying. See, that's how black women think. Black women believe that in order to feel good about themselves, they have to put someone down. This is why you have this type of reputation. Black men typically don't do that.
You know, that type of thing, and that has increased his popularity significantly.
So what would you say in regards to them participating? Like if they know Kevin Samuels pretty much conduct the same types of interview styles with women just about every time he goes live. And the women are rushing to get up there, to be seen, to be heard, to get his advice. What would you say to them if they're the ones participating?
What I would say is that, you know, I understand why these women are.
Well, you got to remember, Goldie fundamentally doesn't believe in black female accountability, and it shows up every time she talks. Watch.
Coming to him because he is a man, he is an older man, and he seemingly is knowledgeable about what it is that he speaks about. And aside from that, like I mentioned earlier, not a lot of women have, you know, positive relationships with quote unquote more quality guys that they can kind of talk to and kind of get.
Well, that's their fault. That's black women's fault because black women don't prioritize that. Those niggas are lame. Those niggas are squares. So let's stop acting like it's something you all don't have access to.
Answers from. So in theory, I understand why they are going to his channel and why they are asking him questions. I do think that women they could be better served by really talking to a true professional, you know, not to say that Kevin isn't a professional.
Which is what Kevin's an image consultant. Kevin constantly talks about black women needing to get therapy, especially the most retarded of the calls. What are you talking about? Kevin has said that. Black people are cheap. That's why black people don't like to get therapy. And also to keep it 100, a lot of these women don't like listening to their dads if their dads was in the household, which is why Kevin don't even talk to you if you're too young. He said you need to listen to your dad, the end. That's why they can't talk about him throwing little younger women under the bus.
But, you know, a licensed therapist, a counselor, a psychologist, or something like that to help them understand.
You say that as if he never says that.
The truly underlying issues. Because once we get past the you chose a bum or you chose a deadbeat dad or whatever, you know, those criticisms are, or, you know, you have a bad attitude, the woman really needs to begin to explore the root of those things. You know, why is my attitude the way it is? Why am I making the choices that I'm making in men? And I don't think that sorry, baby.
They call Kevin because Kevin's free.
I don't think that I have seen the conversation on Kevin's streams explored to that degree.
Well, then you're not really listening. You're listening to feel and not listening to actually understand. Because there's plenty of women that will tell you, there's plenty of women that will tell you, Kevin, like, see, this is the thing people got to get around. Kevin's got 1 million subscribers. You can't get there with black men. Shout out to O'Shea, who has a mainly black male audience. I believe Stephen Cole has a mostly black male audience, but I think he probably has another audience in there. And Stephen Cole has like I think 300 subscribers now, 300,000. You cannot get to 1 million. Now, if you're in entertainment, that's different, but you cannot get, and even then it's very, very hard. You cannot get to a fucking million. Yeah, he got 320. And then you can, and shout out, anyway, we're going to keep it on Seventh Code, because Seventh Code definitely donated. So I ain't even going to spread it out. But you can't get to that. Like, that's not easy. You cannot get to 1 million without number one, you can't get to 1 million without a combination of non-black support either. So the truth is, Kevin, see, it's funny how they say, well, women built his channel. Shout out to Roastmaster with the $12. One of my oldest and longest supporters, and probably has the record. You can't say women built the channel, but at the same time, act like, well, it's the men. Like, see, that's that bullshit, yo.
So I think that ultimately the women are looking for answers.
Wait a minute, Goldie. You said you don't think
they're looking for answers. Well, because Steve Harvey and everybody else ain't. See, man, remember this concept: emotional dope dealing. Everybody, what is emotional dope dealing? Emotional dope dealing is when you use commercial value in order. You basically say things that are, I call a commercial frequency, meaning it will get you to buy a product. It will get you to get buy attention for advertising dollars, which is TV and stuff. So you always got to either put them in a state to buy or in a position where if you put them in a state to buy, they are watching. That is what, in my opinion, that's like commercialism, and emotional dope dealing is telling women things that have nothing to do with helping them or men. It has everything to do with basically putting them in position to buy something. Example, a lot of your traditional dating coaches in the golden age of being a dating coach used to basically tell people it was all about indirect dating. They would shun things like Alan Roger Curry direct dating method. It's not that indirect dating did not work, but if you didn't deal with the fundamental inner game, which they talked about, but they didn't really speak to in a way that it needed to be spoken to, because people weren't coming to them for mindset information. They were really coming to them how to get women. So they would, streamline it, which is, by the way, again, why I like Stephen is Cole so much, because Stephen Cole really focuses more on the inner game, and he does a very good job effectively communicating it in kind of the videos that he does when he's reacting to things. It comes back to similar themes. Now, the market we're dealing with is different than the market back then, but if you had more people like Stephen Cole back then that really commented on that and highlighted at the end of the day, no matter how much shit you buy as far as whatever technique, method, dating method you use, it won't work if your inner game is not right. And it's not just inner game, it's about the inner mindset. Remember what I said about if you're calling people, right? You're calling people and then you have all this nervous energy because you're worried about them rejecting you. Well, the reality is you could call people and hang up on them and cross them off your list just because they said anything wrong that you didn't like. It's like you're a person hiring them for a job. You don't give a fuck. Like when you're dealing with headhunters don't, or if you're dealing with people like, in the media, when they're doing like casting calls, they don't give a shit. Like there's, for instance, like, did you know in the CW, like the Grant Gunston's character was actually supposed to play Red Arrow? He wasn't supposed to play the Flash. So you can always circle back to people. Circle back to people, but the reality is your job is to headhunt. Your job is not to sit there and then beg these motherfuckers to join. Now, every once in a while, you'll have a particular person that you want to play a part, but when you're doing like prospecting and stuff, you have a mindset of my goal is to qualify you. And if you say something I don't like, I'll give you a perfect example. When I'm sitting here and I'm calling somebody, I say, hey, my name is this. I'm calling from here. This is the purpose I'm called. Are you interested in taking a look at whatever bullshit I got? And if they say, let's say they say, I'm looking for them to say either yes, they're still interested, or no, they're not interested. Say no, take care, bye, next. Because I have more than enough leads. I have thousands of leads that I could call. And I call, and I have actually software to call. Anyway, or they say yes, in which they say, okay, so I have your email. I want to see this information. I want to set up an appointment. Is this time, this time? Here's my point. What if they decide to do some slick shit? And then what if they decide to say, oh, well, what is this about? Well, then I'm going to quickly say, this is about me looking to team up with you so I can help you make some money from home or whatever. And then we help each other. That's what this is about. And then, so are you interested in looking at this video as to what I have to, give? Now they say, well, I don't know. Okay, well, sir, take care. Bye. And I hang up on them. Because at that point, they've demonstrated they don't know how to follow directions. They can't comprehend well. And I'm not waiting for them because I'm not selling you. Because what they're trying to do is seduce me into explaining to them what something is. Now, I could do that, but I'm not going to waste my time explaining to something you have no context over. I'll answer questions once you understand what the base the questions around, because you haven't seen anything. And this is what I tell my people. Don't fucking y'all scared of the fucking phone. Now I do prospecting in a lot of different ways. I paid advertising. I create content, but that's not my point. My point is that's one of the reasons why they're afraid of the phone. And that's the same reason why people are afraid to talk to females, because their mindset, and this is why you have to have you're the prize mindset. You're not the prize, but you're not born the prize. You have to make yourself the prize. And this is why, again, Stephen Cole, when you see, look, he worked out, he lifted weights, he built himself up. You can argue the YouTube channel is a status thing, although that's not necessarily necessary. It's more with because if you've hit these accomplishments that you control, having the right body, having the right mindset, and you're gonna just approach social situations a little bit differently. And so you're the prize because you made yourself into the prize, because that is what you fucking control, right? That is the mindset. And you can't get around that. There is no dating technique that gets around that. But see, the problem is most people will tell you to self-improve because what they're trying to say is nothing. Here's the truth. Just because you got your body right and all that doesn't mean you won't deal with bitches. Just like I could be making $30,000 a month. It doesn't mean if I pick up that phone, and even if I tell somebody that doesn't mean they're going to believe it. You're still going to deal with assholes. So you still have to qualify. So you have to have that mindset. That's a lot of what Kevin talks about too, because Kevin is absolutely ruthless when it comes to that shit. Kevin's like, if you ain't got no money, you need to work 60 hours or don't even fucking talk to me about that, because you're not doing that. Humble up and get a second job. So my point is, she's not saying that in reverse. She's not. And we tell dudes this all the time. Now, people say, well, why do we talk about what the women are doing? We talk about what the women are doing to speak to the environment that you're in, because you also have to be aware of your environment. Stephen Cole doesn't do it in the same way that we do, where he does a little bit more polished, but at the same time, he speaks to the same thing. He just lets the bitches show how fucked up they are rather than him telling you how fucked up they are. And then he comments on the video saying, well, as a man, black, white, or otherwise, this is why you need to be on your square, because this is the environment that you're dealing with, that he's highlighting. He does that better than a lot of people do. And in a much quicker way, because everybody ain't got time to be listening like people listen.
It's been explored.
Make sure you all subscribe. Let's get it up. Appreciate that. And get up the likes. I haven't looked at the likes yet. Man, I better have at least 200 likes, y'all. Don't do me like that. Likes are free. Let's see. Yeah, 183. We're doing good. 183 plus the one asshole that always has to unlike my shit. So let's get to 200. Let's get to 200, y'all.
Forward to that degree. I want you to clarify that for us.
I think she's meaning going deeper. Were you saying going deeper?
Yeah, on the streams, Kevin's streams explore to that degree. Wherever, those criticisms are, or, you have a bad attitude. The woman really needs to begin to explore the root of those things. Why is my
Kevin has explored the root of those things.
attitude the way it is? Why am I making the choices that I'm making in men? And I don't think that
that's been talked about.
Sorry, baby. I don't think that I have seen the conversation on Kevin's streams explored to that degree. So I think that ultimately the women are looking for answers.
Sounds like you just looking at viral videos.
Wait a minute, Goldie. You said you don't think it's been explored to that degree. I want you to clarify that for us.
I think she's meaning going deeper. Were you saying going deeper?
Yeah, on the streams, Kevin really, from what I've seen, I haven't seen all of his millions of streams, right? But from the ones that I have seen,
he ain't got that many streams. And really, you've seen like 5, you've seen them all.
There are, good conversations about the relationship in general, but not really not really delving deeper into the woman's pathology, the trauma that she might be working from.
Fuck your trauma.
The abuse that she might have experienced.
Fuck your abuse. You as a woman, black women go through 10% of what black men do. Shut the fuck up. Okay? I've been in foster care for a year off the dumb shit my parents did. I've been hit with the extension cord at least 3 times for some shit that I did not do. My mom always had the specter of DCFS over me if I got out of line. Fuck your trauma. You hold, let's be clear here. As a black woman, y'all act like y'all go through genital mutilation like some of the girls in Africa go through. Y'all don't go through shit compared to what certain black women, and I'd argue even white women in Eastern Europe go through. Shut the fuck up. I give so few fucks about your trauma.
Caused her to see things or make decisions the way that she has. It's kind of difficult to make.
That's an excuse. I'm very much tired of that shit.
Type of assessment, on the type of format that Kevin has. That's why professional therapists, licensed therapists, and counselors and all of that stuff are who they are, and they are available to us because, they have.
So the question is, why don't black women go to them? God damn it. Shout out to Butterfly Shauna, who is a licensed practitioner. She's a marriage counselor in particular. She has a doctorate on Instagram. She's one of the real ones. And she is married to a black man that's an entrepreneur. She talks about, she's real. One of the few to come. There's some good people that came out of Boyce Watkins' channel, but they don't get the shine they should.
The ability to kind of get down to the root of it. And so I feel that, on the surface, we talk about the relationships and the failures of those relationships.
My fucking myth of white womanhood problems.
But if you really want to get to the root, we need to begin to think more about therapy and actually pursue therapy and, really sort those things out in a meaningful way.
Like I said, I've never heard somebody say so much nothing.
A way that can bring real solution to your now and to your later, more so than just talking about the surface issues.
Okay. Now, just one last thing, Concrete. Go ahead.
She did a really good job dodging the fucking question. She literally didn't answer it.
His detractors are definitely going to tell you that he has suggested therapy for a lot of women that have come through his show. So that's going to be a thing that everybody's going to say, well, Kevin does suggest therapy for a lot of women.
He does. You could do a whole montage on it. I mean, that's really, in my opinion, I think Kevin does. I think he means it, but I also think that's a way of saying, you stupid bitch, you crazy bitch, you dumbass bitch. And he just fills that in with, you need therapy. Have you tried therapy? It's actually very smart.
You have any response to that?
Yeah, I've heard him suggest therapy a lot, and that's one thing that I appreciate.
So you imply that he doesn't.
The comments that compelled me to make the petition, I was surprised that he didn't speak to therapy or providing other alternatives outside of what he considered.
What are these comments?
The solution to the issue that they were considering or talking about. But yeah, to be honest, I think a lot of us women who call into his show know that we need therapy. Right? We know that therapy is available to us. We know that therapy exists. I used to work in, a place that
she still hasn't spoken to why she did it.
Had a lot of resources available to women for many different things. So even those of us who are more quote unquote disadvantaged know that these resources are available. Yet, we still. Have a conversation with someone who's going to point us.
No, your therapy is sex. Your therapy is having an entity that's gonna love you unconditionally, aka as a baby. That's you all's therapy. That's your therapy. And it's not therapy, it's coping mechanisms. That's
back
why
to
they go. Yes,
where we know he should have been all along, you know. So I'm not saying that he doesn't advocate for therapy. I've heard it before, and you know, I understand that that is a position that he does take. However, I know that I believe that a lot of the women who call in already know that they need to be seeing, you know, a license.
And you notice how she says that is like trying to make it like that doesn't matter, but somehow that's not their fault either for calling in.
Therapist or counselor or something.
I think that, thank you, Goldie, for your in-depth answer to Danny's questions. I do think that, you know, namely Kevin is for entertainment. So of course he is not going to, you know, dig deeper. He's not going to psychoanalyze.
Well, I mean, you all are for entertainment. In that case, like, do you think that Kevin, think about it. Come on.
He does not have the education to education experience to kind of psychoanalyze and go deeper with the women who call his show. And of course, that's also
that's honestly that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Kevin has just as much experience as BGS, and BGS is telling y'all some shit that's profound. And see, the thing that annoys me about Concrete, and this is what I would say to her fucking face, is I would say, Concrete, so would you say the same thing, say that about BGS as well? Would you say that about, I'm curious. See, a lot of these women don't stand on the bullshit they talk. They really don't. And this ain't about manhood. This is about you being an adult. So really, Kevin is already, number one, Kevin used to run a couples ministry that was designed to hook couples together. Kevin actually does have the experience to understand women. Let's keep it real. You really don't need a PhD in psychology to understand why these females do what they do. And also, Kevin has run circles around Black women that have called in that are PhDs, but or counselors. You know why? Because a lot of these women, is not that they're not intelligent enough; they just refuse to accept certain things that are real. And it's kind of like, okay, if somebody has a certain virus, but you're not willing, you can't diagnose a condition because that goes against your political values. Then you don't have the ability to really address that. Shout out to Dyra Nomer. Out of all the panels I've seen her on, I don't think I've ever heard Goldie give a direct. No, she doesn't give a direct answer. She looks like a solid for and this is why, I do kind of, I can give some respect to Steph Cole, because Steph Cole at least gives an answer and is candid, which moves the conversation along. Goldie does not do that. And that's how I know you're not counseling nobody. Because if you don't have an ability to give a direct answer on anything, then you don't have the ability to coach nobody. So I think that shit's cap.
His purpose, nor do I believe that is his specific mission. When we talk about, and not to make the comparison, but if we talk about like Wendy Williams, and she is sort of gossip tabloid, she is, critiquing people's lives, their relationships.
Kevin's not doing what Wendy Williams is doing. Kevin's doing more like what Iyanla Vanzant is doing. And so are you going to say she's not qualified either? I mean, shit, y'all didn't have a problem talking about Derek Jackson. Ain't nobody asked if Derek Jackson's qualified, and Derek Jackson's like 31 years old.
Everyday life. And she's of course not going deeper. She is talking about very surface level things. But my question, so that was just in response to what you shared, but my question is, do you find the likes of maybe a Cynthia G or women who would be alleged to speak ill of Black men as detrimental to Black men as you find Kevin's rhetoric to be a detriment?
Let's see.
To Black women?
I listen, like I said earlier, I listen to a variety of opinions, and I'm very familiar with Cynthia G. And there's a stark contrast between Cynthia G and Kevin. Cynthia speaks from what I've seen about things that have taken place in our community, things that are documented in news articles or in law proceedings, or just things that you can find along the internet and news media. Whereas Kevin kind of comes from, I don't want to say a more anecdotal space, because he does state statistics for some things, but kind of like life's experiences, and usually those experiences are really negative. So yeah, I think that guys might not like to hear some things that Cynthia says, but they are documented occurrences, things that took place, and kind of are what they are. I understand, and from this whole petition thing blowing up, I understand that guys don't like to hear the reality of the world that we're living in today and their role in it, and kind of how they have allowed things to become what they are. But that's just what it is, you know?
Yeah, I think I have to say really quickly, and I just have a part two to the question. Really quick. And I don't listen to Cynthia G regularly. I have listened to her in the past, a few of her shows, and or heard her on other people's panels that I did listen to very heavily. And I do hear her generalize. I hear her generalize, and she's not necessarily speaking about like specific things that are that are occurring in the community. She does generalize Black men a lot. So I just wanted to rebut your statement and kind of put that out there because, in all honesty, yeah, I've heard those generalizations a number of times from her. But I wanted to know like what you think about like censorship, because I know in my own personal opinion, censorship can be pretty dangerous when we talk about, if you think about like even YouTube censoring.
Honestly, I'm about to end this stream because I can't take her seriously after she answered it. I wanted to at least give Danielle or Concrete rather than the opportunity to answer the question and see if they would say something rather than ending it and then saying fuck all of them. So I'm gonna see one more part and then this is about to be over, because once she said that, she's just talking.
People who are subscribed to the flat earther theory or anti-vax people, or like typically, and not necessarily, I'm not a flat earther, don't necessarily believe that, but like there is something that you don't want other people to hear when you want to censor something, and a lot of people believe that you're wanting to censor it because there's truth in it and it could shed a negative light on said group. And I want to know your thoughts on that. If you do believe that censorship is dangerous, if you think that there are certain situations where censorship is okay, just I guess your general thoughts on censorship.
Okay. First, I want to go back to the comment about Cynthia G. Now, mind you, I don't think she knows who I am, right?
Keep in mind that she felt the need, rather than just letting that go, she felt the need to revisit that. She didn't like that rebut.
I've listened to her, but like
I think she know who you is, now, child.
Yeah, but I've listened to her, but like I've never conversed with her. Okay, but from, let's say, for example, there is a statistic where I think Kevin has mentioned this specifically, that there is a high number of quote unquote baby mamas, right, in our community, women, single mother women, and I think that statistic is around 72% or something like that. Kevin says that these
it's
women,
more like 68%,
basically are giving birth to children out of wedlock. Okay, and on the flip side, when Cynthia speaks about the reality as she sees it, using that same 72%, she can come to a conclusion. I haven't heard this specifically. I don't want to try to quote anybody specifically, neither Kevin nor Cynthia, but she can say that basically.
So basically, hold on, before you say anything, what you're doing is you don't like how that statistic, which is a fact, it is either correct or incorrect. It is either correct or incorrect. Your feelings do not have any kind of bearing on that. This is what I'm talking about with math. Statistical analysis is a mathematical discipline. You have a problem in math. Now, obviously, you can lie with stats, and Black women do all the time. When they talk about they're the most educated group, they're pulling that off a survey that comes from literally 9 years ago. And they have not consistently been the most educated every year. And that just means you're in school. But that's not what we're talking about. With single motherhood, you either are or you aren't. That number either is or it is not. Just like teen pregnancy has gone down. So again, you already admitted that you listen to Cynthia in order just to see, this is about emotions. But I just want to make that clear before she keeps on talking.
There's a 72% chance that if you are, sexually involved with the Black guy and you do get pregnant, there's a 72% chance that you will end up being a single mother. And I don't think I don't think that's a misrepresentation.
That's an absolute misrepresentation. That's an absolute misrepresentation. Because the reality of the situation is what the element is, you control having a child. You have the right to choose. But see, this is where me and Goldie, this is what gets on my nerve the most about Goldie. Goldie fundamentally doesn't believe in Black female accountability when it comes to children. She believes a man gets her pregnant. See, in her world, she makes it sound like abortions is illegal in the United States, which it's not. And it has never been illegal since she's been born. We're not even going to get into Black women not taking birth control, which has actually been pretty much proven, and they say it all the time. We're not even going to get into not wearing a condom. We're not even going to, which they choose to do. We're not even going to get into the men they choose to have sex with. And you can look at how little child support they get off of that to show that we're not even going to talk about all of that. Just looking at the morning after pill Because I understand abortion can be an emotional thing for a woman, but the morning after pill is not emotional. And the morning after pill has gotten readily more accessible. So this goes, so she wants to believe the world as a certain way. See, honestly, Goldie, man, please. Goldie has the right to have a channel, but Goldie is not somebody to really be taken seriously because you're really arguing with an idiot.
Might not feel
Goldie talks a little bit better than Miss J, but it's basically the same thing.
Good to hear that said out loud, but the reality is that it is what it is. Kevin can say that the women are 72% responsible for it, and then on the flip side, Cynthia can also say that the men are 72%.
No, you can't, because men can't. Because the question you have to answer for me is, how do men stop you from having a child if you want to have it? Legally, that's in your control. And I'm sorry, if men had the ability to control, like if they came up with a birth control pill for men, that number would plummet. That's why they don't develop it. Because if you couldn't get a baby out of men, we just wouldn't have kids. So they bank on your emotional shit. Well, this is not about me reasoning with it. This is about me applying logic to the dumb shit she's saying.
Responsible for
That's a skewed statistic anyway. It's like when you dive deeper into that statistic, it's a common talking point, but the statistic is skewed because it would make you believe that 72% of Black women are having babies.
No, that's not what we're talking about. And nobody never says that. What we're saying is, like, go ahead.
And they're single. Number one, it's not 72% of Black women, it's 72% of the Black babies. Now, Black babies also includes babies that are biracial. So they would be included in that. And in addition, that means single, like unmarried. But
that's not true. Hold on, because yes, you're right. So that means it ain't just Black men getting y'all ass pregnant. That's not what that means. That's not what that means. And see, what Concrete's trying to say is, she's trying to say, well, if Black men are having biracial kids. Okay, hold on. Let me look that up, because see, she's about to lie. So I'm gonna type in fact, I want you all to see this, because see, now she's about to lie. This is why the Black community is fucked, because Black women are incapable of telling the truth. They're just incapable of it. They're not capable of it. They're gonna lie. And see, she had to help when she was saying that bullshit she was saying, like Goldie was saying. But this is the problem. And this is why I hate when they talk about a Black woman's perspective, because it's not a perspective, it's a lie, it's a narrative. It's not a perspective, it's a narrative. It's based on how you feel. So we're gonna do this together. CDC fast stats. Black woman single motherhood rate. Oh, my bad. I wanted to pull this up with you. I wanted you all to see me do this, so we find out together. Let's do it again. CDC fast stats. Black single motherhood rate. I told you, I think it's like 68%. Unmarried childbearing. Number of live births to unmarried women. Let's see where we can find it. See, the problem is she's trying to lean on the kid. No, I'm not talking to, no, we're talking about how many women are having kids out of wedlock, not how many kids are, not how many kids. Like, let's see. Hold on. Like, cause so this is saying 66%. This was in 2017. I already know what she's trying to do. What she's trying to do is she's trying to make it about, oh, well, you're saying the children, the 72% of black children and biracials counted black children. So really, that's black men spreading their seed. Actually, the reverse is true, Concrete. And BGS just did a video showing with your theory, the reverse is true. That black women are having kids. Black women are having more kids outside of the community than black men are, as far as actual births. So the reality is that still comes back on you, which would make sense because 53% of black men don't have kids. Whatever. I'll find that later. Don't have kids. And that's the thing. They want to find a way to make that not true. And I'm like, yo, we don't say it because we're trying to beat you up. The number has already been looked at. The number has already been looked at. Y'all the ones that are lying.
Relationship with someone. So I hate that statistic, and I understand what you're saying regarding how the statistic can be presented on both.
And now she wants to talk about but here's the thing. In order for that to be true, then you got to stop saying that black men are abandoning black women, which is what you all also say. That's the thing. Well, maybe not her particularly, but that's out there. You don't see them push back against that. See, this is where the capping happens, man, for real.
Yeah, because either way, even if it were a non-black mom, it's still, the result of a child being created with a black man.
Yeah, see? So let's blame the black man. But the problem is you all are having more kids. You all are having more biracial kids than black men. That's what doesn't get said. So y'all are trying to see which makes sense why you listen to Cynthia G.
So right. I think that, people...
And they agree. Which, if BGS was on here, Concrete wouldn't hold to that.
And of mischaracterizing some of the things that Cynthia is saying. That's just my statement.
Are you serious? We don't have to mischaracterize it. Like, we've been listening to Cynthia longer than you have. What are you talking about? Shout out to Philip for the $2 cash app. Like, Cynthia G has said that I think the majority of black men are lowlives. Cynthia G has said some shit to put Minister Jap to shame. Like, are you fucking serious? You make it sound like, man, like, that's the thing everybody always goes to when they're a Cynthia G subscriber. They always go to, well, she's just holding black men accountable. No, she's not. And if you actually understand her past, you would know she's not really capable of that.
Now, when we talk about censorship, I don't really see the petition as quote unquote censorship.
Of course you wouldn't, because you're a black woman. Whatever goes. See, it's not because it's a black man. You don't believe he has a right to speak anyway. You don't really see it that seriously.
I see that it is a rebuttal or a response to some really dangerous rhetoric that has been spewed by Kevin and the community.
Well, you have yet to say the fucking words that Kevin has stated. When we comment on somebody, we actually say what the fuck they said.
To. I see Kevin as kind of the leader of that community, and that community has, like I said, permeated almost every facet of daily life for all of us. So I just see it as...
which is what the objective was. And no, we haven't actually. We're not even like 5% of where the fuck we need to be.
A way to kind of resolve the threat as...
See, the threat. Like, listen to the language she's using. This bitch makes it seem like we're fucking terrorists. This bitch makes this shit sound like we're worse than white supremacy.
It relates and
yeah, she's a bitch.
Demographic.
I want you to see my face when I say that. Goldie, you're a bitch for this.
I think that there is
you can say I said that shit.
That there's a right to freedom of speech, and I'm not contesting that. However, when that right infringes on another demographic safety,
I'm really waiting for Concrete and Danielle to challenge that and cut the bullshit.
then we really have to be honest about what it is.
Where's Angry Man at? That's what she needs. She needs that treatment. Fuck me. She needs his ass on her.
We really have to be honest about the fact that that there is a responsibility from all of us to each other when we talk about
I told you all, prime time, all of you all, y'all need to go in that comment section and email me at edwardanderson300k@gmail.com that abort black male baby shit. I want to see that shit. Because she talking this shit, but she talk about abort black male babies or indicating that she likes that or she's cool with that. Go get it.
Of speech and the reality that censorship occurs when your speech makes others unsafe.
By the way, we're not going to talk about how you've had reports of black fathers being killed defending their daughters. Fuck that, right? The famous twins, the other situation is rolling around. Now the famous twins are bringing their own mother into their bullshit. But fuck that,
Okay. And I'm glad you said that, because that's the next area that I wanted to go in. In your petition, you specifically said acts of violence, sexually predatory behavior, and even death has been documented stemming from Mr. Samuels and his community.
Shout out to Grinch. Grinch is another one y'all need to be subscribed to. If you like me, there's no reason you shouldn't like the fire he spits. He got one talking about black men and weak betas and why they can't deal with dudes that's on their square. It's really good. I'm about 10, 15 minutes into it.
Followers has spewed rhetoric in the last 12 months. Will you cite any sources from that? Because I when I read that,
watch this shit.
I was like, okay. Now, to me, if a person is talking rough to me or like saying something that I don't like, I don't consider that.
It's hard to believe that Mint Mobile can be good at just $15 a month.
Ryan Reynolds,
as
you
Mint's
bastard.
new owner, I brought.
No. What happened? No. What happened? Oh, that's funny. That's a funny. Look at that. That's such a good thumbnail. Makes me look crazy as fuck.
And we.
Oh no.
Will you cite any sources from that? Because I when I read that, I was like, okay. Now, to me, if a person is talking rough to me or like saying something that I don't like, I don't consider that violence. But now, if I do go on a panel and I'm having a discussion and people are up there calling me all kind of bitches and hoes, I still wouldn't consider that violence. I would consider that bad language. But I wanted you to clarify.
Notice how she didn't even consider that abusive. She said she notice how she didn't even say abusive. So that's a good setup.
The sexually predatory behavior, especially the death part that you said stem from.
I mean, Goldie's a dumb. I'm gonna tell you why Goldie, and I'm saying it right now. She's stupid. I'm gonna tell you why. Kevin could sue her for this if Kevin wanted to be an asshole. Kevin could sue her for this. I don't know how that got bigger. Like, Kevin could sue her for this.
Samuels and his followers.
I really don't think she understands that.
Yeah, there is a statistic. I think I would consider it to be a statistic where a black woman is killed every 19 hours. I think it is. That
has nothing to do with Kevin Samuels. Like, number one, that's bullshit. But number two, that's some shit bitches been talking about for 10 years now. I remember 19 hours. Like, and this is where the number one killer of black men is a black women is black men. This is where, see, you can tell she listens to Cynthia G.
This day, I think, or this time in 2021, more than 800 women have been killed. 800 black women have been killed by their intimate partner. And I have to go back into the statistics, but a significant number of those who have committed those crimes are black men.
Of course, everybody's with their own race. What are you talking about? But, fuck the Chad Wheeler situation.
I can't give you a specific name at this time, but I can follow up with you if.
But that's not a stat that has nothing to do with Kevin, though. And by the way, none of those niggas are listening to Kevin.
Something that I need to do. But I think that the conversation, the breeding ground is what is contributing to all of that. When we speak of
that bullshit existed, that predates the manosphere. Those statistics predate the manosphere.
The threats of violence. I've heard Kevin say himself on his streams, he'll say something like, well, if he could knock your teeth out your mouth or rearrange the furniture in your mouth, he would do the same
Kevin
thing.
has never said that. And like I said, he should sue her. I've listened. Kevin's never said that. Kevin's an image consultant. Kevin's too smart to say something like that. Kevin is too smart to imply something like that. Because if he said something like that, that shit would be all over YouTube. Do you understand that they would thank Jesus for sending them a video like that? They would never make it people not know he said that. That clip, boy, that'd be the most viral clip YouTube's ever had. That shit go up there with cats and dogs.
And
that's how I know that's a lie. I know that's a lie because Kevin, because black women would never let something like that go. Like that he rearranged the furniture in your mouth. I've never heard that. Like that sound like some I've never heard, like, what?
Maybe Kevin wouldn't consider, actually knocking somebody's teeth out their mouth or rearranging the furniture in their mouth, but one of his, millions of subscribers that hear him might actually consider that, and, it may never be revealed that, that a person heard him say that and thought that could be a viable option. So when we speak about the deaths of women, the fantasies of deaths of women, there was a conversation.
She said the fantasies of death.
There was a conversation. I don't know if it was after the Everyday Best thing, but there was a conversation in the community for a little while about how women weren't needed, like men could exist without women.
That's not fantasies of death. What the fuck are you talking?
Ever, being here, unless they wanted to use us for procreation. They wouldn't need us unless they wanted to create a child. They could perfectly exist well without any woman ever.
What is it? How is that different than? How is that different than I'm strong, independent, and don't need no man? Like, what are you talking about, yo? What are you talking about?
Being present, unless they needed to, create a child or whatever. So, that was.
Well, that's what the Arabs do all the time. What are you talking?
A conversation that took place for, quite a few of his streams where he, created this world, this fictitious world where women.
No, he did. He was talking. She's talking about how she said that men can survive without women. We just can't reproduce. That is not. Oh my God. Yeah, the problem is if you legitimately sue her, then she gonna act like she a victim. But honestly,
where women didn't exist, and
might be a
make sure to drive the point home that we didn't need women in this world to exist, or men didn't need women in this world to exist.
I'm curious what Concrete Danielle gonna say because I know they've heard that. That is not what. Wow. You're right. I do think. I'm not even gonna say that.
Did that answer your question, Danny?
I would say that it answered some of it.
See, they ain't even gonna touch that shit. Concrete, you ain't slick. Damn, you ain't slick. Like, come on. We know how you play. I know the plays you run. She know that's bullshit. Yo.
Because I really wanted to hear, like when you say that somebody has kind of, it's almost like yelling fire in a movie theater.
The truth is Super Sly and Jap had better evidence than this, man.
When you say stuff like a person has been a part of a community that's contributed to death, then I would ask, okay, in the last year, we've had people losing their jobs. We've had the coronavirus. We've had this pandemic has been really, really detrimental to a lot of people. People being out of work. Spouses, husbands, and wives have really had to be with each other because a lot of people have been working from home. And so, to me, there would be other factors that would contribute to a lot of the behaviors as opposed to one man's rhetoric. And that's kind of where my thought process went when I thought about it. So it kind of answered my question a little bit, but I would have wanted to hear like specific statistics to where you would say, okay, some of his.
Well, you gotta understand, Michael. Understand it. Most like usually I wouldn't even listen to this shit. I'm listening to this because, you know, it's an excuse for me to do a video. I'm trying to experiment kind of how I'm gonna look at camera, like what this backdrop is looking like. Can I really have a setup that makes it look like I'm looking at the screen while still seeing the video? So it's a couple of reasons I'm doing the video, and this gets y'all some good insight into how I think in real time. Because see, that's the benefit of me doing this in real time. You get to understand how I think in real time, not some, oh, well, I had time to think to come up with some bullshit.
His rhetoric has led to the death of Black women.
So you're specifically talking about the portion of your question relating to people, you know, Black women, their lives being in danger, or them like the violence causing death. I think she answered the
or even
the other part of the question.
And then the other thing was like the sexually predatory behavior. Would you give us some clarification about that?
Yeah. So when we talk about the last 12 months, we all kind of have been like in a really stressful situation, right? It's like something that was like unforeseen, and like none of us have really, you know, experienced anything like this before. And, you know, some of us, well, most of us were forced to spend more time in a confined environment like a home than, you know, we previously ever had been forced to. And we have to be honest and say that is when, you know, Kevin really, really took off. There was, he already had momentum going into the pandemic and everything.
First of all, a lot of channels took off. They may not took off as much as he has, but a lot of channels took off. So again, this is clearly a female that she doesn't understand the kinetic impact of what's coming out of her mouth. This honestly, this interview, and like this interview, and then that petition, and then I would say you need to present shit, and I would give my whole channel up and say I dare you all to find anything that shows this rhetoric, anything, like honestly.
But the last year and a half kind of, you know, gave more time to that message to kind of permeate and sink in and everything. So yeah, I think that while we have seen the violence on the rise in the last year or so, we have to also acknowledge that the messaging got stronger and louder and more present within the last year or so as well. When I speak in terms of the sexual predatory behavior, you know, Kevin does represent a community, and we know that that he represents that community, right? And part
not
of
really.
Kevin's,
a lot of
advice is for older men, you know, 50-year-old men to pursue 20-year-old women or 25-year-old women, really young women. That's
legal. So you're essentially in the camp that you're gonna call something like that, like this comes back to Goldie not believing women can make their own decisions. This is what that comes back to. So that's her excuse. Kevin has already cited that the reason he says that is because men peak out in income at about 50 years old, particularly Black men, and that's why he believes that. By the way, other cultures understand that too. And he's saying if you want a high value man, then that's generally where you have to look. He didn't say you had to have a high value man. Like that's
don't know much about life, haven't lived, you know, much life, and these guys.
Yeah, so you don't know much about life, but you're 38 fucking years old. See, that's the problem. Black women are always saying that. So, like, let you all tell it. Y'all don't know shit till you 30, and now you want to be an adult. That's the problem. Like, y'all talk about 20, y'all don't know shit, and you fucking look, the United States of America is deeming you a legal adult at 18. The fuck are you talking about? The only thing you really can't do is rent a car until you're 25, and that's because the rent-a-car don't trust your ass. By the time you're 21, you can drink alcohol. What are you talking about?
Know that these women don't know much, you know, haven't experienced much, and they know that they are far, far, far advanced as it relates to this woman's cognitive reasoning ability and understanding of how the world, you know, quote unquote works.
Now remember, Concrete is 38 with a 50-year-old.
And how he does, right? So when we think about the promotion of older men, you know, 50-year-old men dating very young women, I consider that to be predatory in nature, because there are really quality women that are closer to their age range, available and single, and interested in marriage. And to intentionally go after really young, inexperienced women leads me to see that as somewhat predatory.
I have a question for you, Goldie. And this was not my original question, but just to piggyback off of what you just said, do you find it equally as predatory when young women are going after old men for their pocket?
Great question.
Like sugar babies. Do you find them as predatory as well?
Give you credit.
I never really thought about that, because a young woman who is pursuing an older woman for money and stuff kind of is more advanced than a younger woman who is just, minding her business, living her little 20-year-old life, and is approached by a man who has the resources and everything to kind of get her attention, So I think a lot of times we, from what I've seen since this petition has come out,
surviving R. Kelly bullshit.
Guys, kind of put the shoe on the other foot, quote unquote, and ask if it would be the same thing if a woman did X, Y, and Z. But that's not really what
the difference. Hold on, because Black women do that. Number one, not at 50, but they do it in 40s. Black women are getting babies all day out of younger dudes, and they do that because they have that predatory mindset. But the difference is those guys know what they're doing too. So yeah, it is. So it's a man, please. And number two, those women are not dating these guys with the intention of those guys. Number one, they're not dating those guys with the intention of taking care of those guys. And number two, those women are not dating those guys with the intention of those guys taking care of them. That's a different dynamic. And when you reverse it. See, the problem is she sees patriarchy as a predatory nature. And really, this is what women, I remember what I told you all. I told you all that this is rhetoric that women are going to start using as a mechanism to try to keep these dudes from chasing younger women. They're going to start calling that, they're going to start trying to call that a form of predatory, sexual predatory. And this is why I keep saying you need to start suing women for that. Like, because honestly, that what that does to somebody's reputation, that's grounds for a lawsuit.
It's not really what the focus of the conversation is on, or really the reality of the conversation. The reality is those young women who pursue older men for money are more advanced. They've seen more.
No, the reality is you're just too many hypotheticals. Number one, see, this is what's crazy. What's crazy is all these chicks, these women are never too young to have a fucking baby. They're never too young to make a decision to have a fucking baby with some random ass nigga. But this shit is where you draw the fucking line. This is bullshit.
They've experienced more, and even those women, as much as experienced as they are, still.
And by the way, you can be a 16, like, man, Amber Rose and Cardi B were 16 years old in strip clubs. So that's their words. You're not fucking advanced. What are you talking about? That doesn't mean you're advanced. What about fucking Blue Jasmine? You're not advanced. See, man, she's talking out her ass, yo.
Can be taken advantage of by that older man, So whether she be very.
I agree. It's a different, but the reason that I asked the question is because I guess knowing this space, they want to be able to examine things from the other side too.
Yeah, because again, Concrete and Danielle, we're on your side. We're on your side. And we're just having a conversation. And see, the reason why what they're doing is annoying the shit out of me is because they make it hard for me when I do want to it's hard for me to have conversations with women on my channel because I got dudes like Black Huru and Ty City basically on my back because of this bullshit. This is the bullshit that makes them right. And quite frankly, for Danielle to be a part of the habitual line steppers, like what she should, if you're going to be a part of a black male group, then where the fuck is Roger? Where the fuck is Kevin or Donnie? But see, she wouldn't have showed the fuck up then.
In order to determine if they feel if someone is being hypocritical. So that's the reason that I asked that question. And I understand your response. I think that there are, when we think about just giving an example that everyone can pull from, what's his name? J. Alexander Smith and Anna Nicole. Like, there are women who are literally trolling to take advantage of men who, and it's because these women know the game. And there are some men that are unassuming. When we talk about some of these older men, they're unassuming. They don't know the game. They, of course, don't mind. They want a trophy. They don't mind spending and splurging on you. But these women are like well equipped with, you know, the knowledge of how to get a man to break bread, how to, you know, take a man for everything.
Well, here's the truth. The truth is, and this is what Goldie won't say, she don't give a fuck about that. To her, that's the game. That's not predatory. That's love conquers all. It's all fair in love and war. I mean, that's what that means.
He has. So, you know, there are women that just have these ulterior motives, and they are leading with those ulterior motives in order to take advantage.
And Concrete knows this because Concrete got a friend that had a baby on a nigga that way. But see, again, this goes against Goldie's worldview. See, Goldie represents the stupid bit most. See, she may not be the ones actively doing the shit, but she represents the dumb broads out here that circle the wagons around the females doing the shit. And then this is where and too many dudes will feel their way through this shit with these women. And then they'll be like, well, I don't want her to be mad, so I'm just going to be agreeable.
Older men too, but so I just wanted to examine it from the other side.
This is the last part, and we're going to go real quick to what they talking
and, you know,
about.
They want to know if you're fair and impartial on both sides. So that's kind of where some of the questions are coming from.
But you know, Jay Alexander and Kevin's audience are kind of two different kinds of men, right?
Oh no, yeah. That's what I'm saying. I was just and I just gave a broad example that everyone.
Here's the thing. So now she has made a declaration on the kinds of men that Kevin represents. 1 million subscribers, but really she's using Kevin as a proxy to attack the entire manosphere. Now that that's known, then motherfuckers need to go ahead and handle that accordingly, because she's just using Kevin as a proxy. She's already said it in here multiple times.
Understood it. So I talked about Anna Nicole because she was like, that was her shtick. But I understand that there's a complete separation of the two. But I just my question was to examine it from the other side.
Now, I was familiar with Anna Nicole back in the day. I was much younger. So again, I might not have quote unquote known the ways of the world during that time. And maybe seen that she was pursuing him specifically for money. What I saw was a really, really old man. I mean, 70 or 80 years old. He was old as ever. And they probably connected through their social circles, right? Because she was a model.
You see how she's making excuses for the white bitch?
And celebrity and stuff. So they
in her mind, this is where the insidiousness of this comes from. I thought crimes used to do this bullshit, but they would never be as direct. She makes it sound like that black women are just walking up the street, little black 20-year-old, la 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 la, you know, they may be 20 in age, but you know they look 16, you know, they look 15, you know, but they're 20 in age, but they look 15. And you got this old ass nigga that ain't about shit, don't got shit, they just running up on the shit. That's what she's describing. So when you look at a white situation, and by the way, this is the same goofy shit Cynthia G does too, is she wants to make excuses where they connected through social circles, where they did this, they did that. And then she makes this entire generalization that, by the way, she says Cynthia G never does, even though Concrete said that she's heard her say about 1 million subscribers. I want you to really think about that.
I don't know for sure, able to connect in their social circles. Whereas in the community that Kevin comes from and the audience of men that he speaks to, these men are intentionally, stacking resources or finding ways to gain, income, resources and everything, and then pursuing younger, impoverished, women who.
That's actually a lie. None of these. Are you serious? Most of the women these dudes are dealing with are educated. If anything, they would jump into colleges to deal with these women. And they would probably have a bachelor's degree. So they'd probably be 22. Guys like Dr. Dunbar. The fuck are you talking about? Kevin said it out of his mouth. He don't deal with women that ain't got a college degree. You see, and that's is that not the same rhetoric they say about what we do, black men going overseas? They're applying that domestically too.
Who want a better life. You know, they talk about pursuing women of other countries, you know, that are third world countries. These women are dirt poor. You know, they advocate for getting.
That's your assumption. A lot of these women got degrees. It's just the cost of living is completely lower. That's your assumption. And see, the problem is, I want y'all to understand this, how dangerous this is. You got a female like this that was able to make that kind of kinetic impact with a change.org. Now, David Carroll talked about how he was warning Kevin Samuels a long time ago that a nigga might run up on Kevin because one of these women might send him on a send-off mission. That's a lot more likely than what the fuck what she's talking about. But see, she don't give a fuck about that, and she don't take the time to think about that. Shout out to Stacker Star for the $20. All right, y'all, press 2 if you tired of hearing this shit and y'all want me to stream the afterflow panel for a second. Press 2. Because I'm really tired of hearing her fucking mouth.
Your resources up and then going and, you know, getting one of those women just because, you know, that woman is young and, you know, he kind of can run circles around her, you know, so I kind of feel that that's where the predatory behavior comes from.
And I understand that. And I don't want to focus, you know, on Anna Nicole Smith solely. I just thought of the first example that popped in my head. But I do think by the time they met, that her Playboy career and acting was like all well over. I do believe that she was like seeking out someone who was fortunate to take care of her, which could also be deemed as predatory. But, I understand where you're going. And I think that you're very good at kind of highlighting the specifics as it relates to why you've concluded what you concluded. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I understand too. Thank you.
Okay. My next question is, do you think that...
Actually, no, she's not. She's very good at talking around shit.
Women are complaining so much about Kevin Samuels' rhetoric is because it exposes a lot of their bad behavior to a broad spectrum, unlike before. At one point, women were on social media, not social media, but out in the public. Basically, the rhetoric was niggas ain't shit, niggas ain't gonna be shit, they deadbeats, they this, they're that. Now we have a generation where I'm not gonna say it's necessarily equal, but we have a generation of bonnet wears, slipper wears, pajama wears. Whole culture is prevalent in our community. Would you say that women complain so much because he exposes a lot of that type of behavior?
No, because again, like I mentioned earlier, I believe that those bonnet wearers and I can't remember the other ways that you describe those ladies. I think that that's, you know, a small percentage of, you know, who Black American women are, you know, wholly, right? I think that, you know, the bonnet wearer.
That's your opinion. That's your opinion. That's your opinion. That's not like everything we say is statistically data driven. That's your opinion. And it's interesting how they'll use the media to highlight all of the negativity for Black men and how bad they look in the media. But now the media doesn't, like again, I'm glad that's why I keep letting it run.
It's just like the niggas ain't shit group kind of get a lot of attention, and we somehow think that we all fall into either of those categories, and you know that's not true on either side. So I don't think that women have criticism against Kevin because of that particular percentage of women, or that, you know, particular percentage of Black women are being exposed. I think that women have criticism of Kevin because he's just wrong in some things. I think that his view is skewed.
What is Kevin wrong in? All of these people that's made these fucking videos and nobody can really highlight that.
And unbalanced in many ways as it relates to Black American women in general. You know,
what do you feel like? What do you feel like he's getting wrong for the most part?
You know, there was a conversation where he said that Black women were ugly, you know, that we were the least attractive women out of all of the other women. And that's just categorically like false. Like there was no real reason for him to attack Black women.
That's not what Kevin said. That's bullshit. Kevin said that in dating apps, you all are ranked the lowest, meaning non-Black men in particular want you to fucking least. That's a fucking fact. I mean, I'm sorry. That's your problem is not with Black men. Your problem is with those dating apps.
In that way. And not only did that...
That's not an attack. Shout out to Gabe. Gabe did a $10 super chat on that video saying 40 to 50-year-old men marrying 20-plus year women is not predatory, but is legal in the U.S. Goldie, that is not sexual predatory. Again, your message is... Thank you. Appreciate Gabe. And by the way, I want to shout out to SWP because SWP said to say the same stupid shit when Kevin first started talking about that, SWP was saying that because he felt a certain fucking type of way. And y'all niggas got to start separating how the fuck you feel from what it is. Y'all like to use real flamboyant language. Shout out to R Rizzle with the $5 super chat. The chickens are coming home to roost. Fuck out of here, man.
Oh, I mean, not only did he send a message, a public message saying that he, as a representative of hypothetically, 500,000 Black men, I'll say half of his million subscribers, felt that Black women were the least attractive. He also sent a message out to other races of men.
He did a poll. Not a message, a poll. He asked a question.
That our own men felt that we were unattractive and encouraged them, I think, vicariously to also see Black women as being the least attractive or unwanted or under.
Kevin mainly dates Black women. He was married to 2 Black women. He has a Black daughter. Do you really believe he would put that fucking message out with a Black daughter? Like, I didn't really intend to start cussing, but because I didn't really want to, show my face and start saying, you stupid bitch, all this other shit, because it looks bad. It makes it look like, oh, you hate Black women. You don't like Black women. Oh, but for real, this is some really serious. Like I said, this is suable, yo. Like, for real. And I know what that means when I say it, but this is crazy.
Desirable. I think that with a lot of the statements that he makes, from his individual perspective, he's speaking as a.
And how can you say, and even a lot of Black women believe that they're ranked at the lowest of the beauty scale. That's what the colorism shit, because it's a white beauty standard. But even still, that's an opinion. You can feel he's wrong. But the reality of the situation, Kevin didn't create this system. And a lot of Black women agree with Kevin in that assessment. That's why you got so many darkism channels. Steph Cole would actually agree with that assessment. Now, she may not like it, but she would say, yeah, that's what it is. That's a problem with pretty privilege.
Person for Black men, and in comments, Black men will tell you that he's saying the things that they've always wanted to say. Yeah. He is.
Yeah, now you're looping in that to make it sound like Black men have always wanted to say that Black women are the ugliest. See, that's such manipulative,
really, saying some things from what I consider to be his individual perspective, but which might really be the Black man's collective perspective that are,
If Black men really felt that way, we wouldn't deal with y'all as much as we do. 85% of Black men are married to Black women. We wouldn't deal with y'all as much as we do. Like, are you serious? Why do we put up with your attitude and shit? Like, see, this is Diaries of a Dumb Bitch,
really just untrue, So, and then when we talk about the Black women being more overweight than other women, I was listening to.
That's factually true.
A YouTuber not too long ago, I won't name her, but she went through the David's Bridal website. Okay, and she clicked on different styles of dresses and the size.
That's irrelevant because Black women don't get married like that. So Black women get married a hell of a lot least than other women. So you're already fucking up.
That were available for these dresses, and found that most of these dresses were available in sizes above 18. Okay, they even had sizes like 24 available in these wedding dresses. And then she went back to relate those dresses being available in those particular sizes to the numbers that Black women are actually being married, right? And the numbers where
that's like reaching like a motherfucker, yo. That has nothing, like their inventory for that has nothing, like that is not a correlation. Like that does not beat CDC fast stats.
White women and women of other races are being married, and found that, the majority of Black women couldn't be the ones buying those larger size dresses. Right?
Yes, because Black women are not.
That because we aren't getting married as much as those other women, so to just say that we're the most unattractive, the heaviest, the most overweight or unhealthiest, it's just a lot of opinion that comes off as fact. And
he quotes oh my God, man. Like
it really, for lack of a better term, attacks the Black woman as a whole. And I think that's why a lot of Black women don't really appreciate a lot of Kevin's rhetoric.
So do you reject the it's not the CDC, but the Department of Health,
shout out to Trent's for Ed woman's dishonest that's accepted. Absolutely. I mean, we know. Shout out to J Dub for the $5 super chat as well.
Statistics on weight that show that Black women are more overweight than other groups.
Do I reject the notion that Black women are more overweight than
Yeah,
other
like there are statistics that they do, and I'm going to try to find it real quick, and if and so I can drop it in the chat. But I've seen the statistics a number of times. There's the Department of Public Health, and like when they do their statistics, it shows that Black women are percentage-wise are more likely to be overweight than other groups.
I think that historically, I guess I'll say we have, as Black women, carried more weight than other women, and we know that we're.
I mean, did you just hear what so when Kevin says it, it's a lie, but when the stats say it, which is what Kevin's pulling it from. Shout out to Splatterhouse. The Lego chicks have been put in the spotlight like an advertisement billboard on the highway. That's why these broads are mad, period. Yeah. Like, you see what she just did there? This is insane, yo. And then the way she answers it like somebody that's trying to be a politician, but is not doing a good job.
Shapelier than other women, just as a general body type.
That's motherfucker, you weigh more than your fucking men. Cut that bullshit out.
That, but I don't think that that's necessarily quote unquote overweight. I guess if you want to follow a BMI scale for all races of women.
Fuck the BMI scale. You weigh more than your men at the same fucking height. Fuck that. The fuck?
Then Black women can be considered to be the heaviest. But from what I have seen, and I haven't studied this in any type of statistical research or anything, but for example, the frame of an Asian woman is significantly smaller than the frame of a white woman or a Latino woman. So to consider those white women or Latino women overweight as it relates to Asian women who are much shorter.
Again, like, oh my God, yo. Like, come on. You are such a fucking, like, that's that big bone shit. Damn, she
smaller in stature. It's kind of misleading. I understand how it could appear to be correct because numbers are what they are. But when you look at, the body type and structure and, that whole thing, I don't think that Black women are just obese.
That's why it's called a body mass index. It accounts for height. Black women are not physically like an Asian bitch at that's 5'5" is not smaller than a Black woman that's 5'5" from a skeletal structure. Do you not fucking understand that by you saying that, you're giving credence to like white men saying that we're actually a different fucking species based on race? Because if the skeleton structure's true, then the brain shit is true. You're actually giving credence to white supremacists saying that we're actually different species. You are so fucking dumb.
Here or just significantly overweight as it relates to Latino women or white women. Now, if you want to compare them to, even Indian women, some Indian women, carry weight. If you want to compare a Black woman, her natural body, natural makeup to an Asian woman, then maybe so.
Nobody, when have you ever heard anybody in the manosphere compare a Black woman to an Asian woman? I've never heard that.
Yeah, they're taller and heavier and all of that type of stuff. So.
And I accept what you're saying, but I pulled up like the minority health and it shows that African American women are leading in weight, and then there's Hispanic women, white women, and then Asian women. But I understand what you're saying. I think that I want to ask you a question, but I do think that some of what we get in this space,
and I want to tell you something. You know what Concrete and Danielle is showing? Remember what I've always told you all about, because other people's talking about the high mind too. But remember when I say 80% only 20% of Black women are like in a realm of common sense. If you take I'll give you a perfect example. If you take Nurse Nerd and you put her on this fucking panel, she is not going to agree with that like that. And if you don't believe me, go look at the video where she interviews Stefco, somebody that actually puts better points together, and she still puts back on it, not because of rhetoric. You can even say Jessica X. Like, You have women that they are going to stand on their square and they're not going to get lumped into all of this bullshit. But that's a very small percentage of females. What most women are going to do is they're going to collectively agree, even if the shit is fucking stupid. The shit she's saying is absolutely factually incorrect. To believe that, you have to believe that black women are a different species than Asian women. They're not. Your skeletal structures are not different. You don't believe me? Look at Sha'Carri. Y'all want to all back her the fuck up. Sha'Carri is 5'1". Does it look like she got a bigger skeleton?
Space is what I like to refer to as tough love, and it's really tough, and a lot of times it's hard for us to find the love in what the men in this space are saying. Yeah. But even when we talk about
the problem is you all have an issue with logic and facts, and this is why you can identify emotion. When Concrete is saying what she's saying, what she's essentially saying is, I feel you, I understand your feelings, but factually she knows the shit she's saying don't make sense.
Wait. Yeah, it's hidden. But even when we talk about our weight, I absolutely know that I need to lose weight. I am consciously and actively, on a diet program and working out and, doing all the things. But I, when I just look around me, even if I try to, look at nuanced situations in my own everyday life, I know that we don't eat the healthiest. I do see more black women that are focused on their weight, and so many black women work out.
You will never hear a black man say that they're bigger, they're fat because they're bigger than other races of men. You will never hear that. They'll just say it is what it is. I'm still getting bitches or I'm not.
Women, keto, black women, getting healthy groups and part of.
Yes, that exists, but that's not the culture. That was so
many different social groups where black women are encouraging one another. And I'm telling you, black women like shedding pounds. And a lot of this is.
Yeah, but bullshit. Those are exceptions, not the rule. So stop saying that. Just like how there's a natural hair movement, but don't act like that the numbers in wig and weave sales are going down. Let's cut the bullshit.
Natural, some of it is surgery, but so I do think that black women are more aware and more conscious of it. But I think sometimes like hearing the truth, even though it's not sugarcoated, even though it's not music to our ears, is beneficial to us. It lights a fire under us, especially as black people. Like I feel like as black people, we're almost conditioned to like if something isn't harsh, it doesn't impact us in a way that it exacts change. So I think that some of what the men in this space say is beneficial. If you can apply logic and remove your emotions out of this, and I'm just speaking generally. When I say you, not you personally, but if you can apply logic and remove your emotions out of it, and this comes from a person that is extremely emotional. So it took me some time to be able to just kind of accept what the men in this space say, because it was not, covered.
The problem is the problem is that a lot of the shit we say, your fucking moms and grandmothers are supposed to be telling you. We shouldn't have to say this. Y'all should already come with this understanding because your fucking mothers and grandmothers and aunts are supposed to be telling you. But they too busy setting your ass up. And so y'all get 30 and fucking in your 40s and y'all ain't really heard some real shit.
In cotton candy. So I just wanted to just say that. But I do have a question for you.
Can I respond?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay, so there's this lady, I just found her on Instagram, and she goes by the handle of the Black Vegan. Okay. I told you guys that I have this little space, and
I would love to see what her commentary on somebody like Love Dorsey is.
I made a post about something that this lady was wearing, and did more research on her and found that she is a vegan. She has a vegan cookbook. Her name is the Black Vegan. I think that is it.
And what the fuck does that matter?
The Black Vegan. This lady's body, do you hear me, is banging. Okay.
What the fuck does that have to do with what we're talking about?
And she is voluptuous in all the right places, and you can tell that she is absolutely health conscious. She seems to probably be between 5'9" and 5'11", so she appears to be a taller girl. I don't know her, but she appears to be a taller lady. But she is very health conscious, and so much so that she's created a cookbook to help other women, Black women or women in general, be more health conscious. But she still has the curves that we've come to associate with Black women, and
But see, the problem is you're conflating obesity with being curvy. That's the problem. And you're lying when you do that. That's not like you're doing that on purpose. You know what obesity is.
So I don't think that curves or more weight on a Black woman has a direct correlation to being unhealthy. And I think when we listen to some of the rhetoric in the community and the space, we hear that as a criticism where it could just be misguided or misdirected. And when we talk about why women, some Black women feel the way they feel about
nigga, this is a fucking SYSBM infomercial right here.
Things that are said in the community and in the space, that's why. Just because she has some butt and hips, and this lady has all of it. Okay, I mean, I hope to get some of that when.
Bitch, that has nothing to do with what was said. Yeah, you're right. The mother's grandmother's art. Shout out to the $10.
The next couple months, like she has hers, but just because we have those hips in that, but
I think this is a good place to end this because she's really annoying the shit out of me with her bullshit. All right, so we're 34. So look. All right, y'all. I'm telling y'all, I'm not gonna be up here. I'm not gonna be up here. The only reason why I'm pulling this shit, to be honest with you, because I want to see what it look like if I bring people on here. I'm only gonna be on here for like 30. It's 2 hours 34 minutes. It's 4. I'm gonna be up here like 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes. So I'm gonna drop the link, give y'all some opportunities to give y'all's insight as to what y'all think this was. I'm not even gonna play what they said. I'm not going to be up here that long. I'm telling y'all that now. Yeah, what's up, Smurgo?
Damn, you put me up fast as hell.
Yeah, but I'm serious. Yeah, so it would get a couple people on here. Make sure y'all get the likes up. Yeah, so what were your thoughts on that?
Hey, can you hear me all right? Because I am at the bar right now.
Yeah, I can hear you. It's pretty good. And I know you.
Look, at the end of the day, bro, let these bitches hang themselves for real, man. Just let them talk. You gotta let them talk, and you're gonna know what the game is about. Then they complain about like letting them girls in the face, but it's like, listen to what they say when they come here, man. And you still gonna take these women seriously? For real? That shit crazy to me. Couldn't be me. Oh shit.
Oh, I didn't know you can do that. I'm actually moving. I didn't know I could move the bars anywhere I wanted. Oh, that's cool. You learn on the job. No, I mean, dude, nobody's taking it seriously, but you have to understand that, when you may have people are listening to this in different levels. So you have to, kind of show that you're being fair. And that could come off to somebody that's already been initiated as, you're taking it seriously. I'm listening to it like somebody that will have basic common sense and don't have an agenda. That's how I'm listening to it.
What you gotta understand about the way women talk, the way Golda was talking, it wasn't really really giving the kind of message out. She was looking for like an emotional response.
Exactly, yeah.
The way she talks is to listen to emotions and like a response to the people, men and women, to get the desired result.
Well,
it's not really to convey a message.
No, absolutely. Yeah. And it's not, and so most of the time it's from the perspective of it's not to basically elicit anger, it's from the perspective to elicit empathy. And she's really focusing on the people that's in front of her. Absolutely. And this is one of the bigger things that I've talked about. Like, remember, Steph Coast, what did Steph Coast say on BGS's video? She said she put an emphasis when it comes to a high value man. She put an emphasis on emotional intelligence, because men, emotional intelligence, why the BGS says, and this is true, that why do women need to naturally be more emotionally intelligent than men? Because they have to nurture babies. So a baby can't communicate, so they have to know how to emotionally understand what they want. That's not really, men don't really need to know that, because that's not where our role is. Our role is in discipline once that stuff has already been established, once they get a little older. Even if it's 5 or 6, like 4 or 5, it's discipline. And so women, and by the way, women are not sexually attracted to men that are very emotionally intelligent. Not really. which is why that's typically, even though they try to say that's a trait they want, like when you ask them what do you want in a man, that's always a trait they kind of allude to in one way or the other, but that's not a trait they're actually fucking niggas off of, because that's not what they're biologically really attracted to. So that's kind of the disconnect. So they expect these men, us as men, to talk to them like we're their fucking guy in the friend zone. And so but another thing too is she's like Miss J. She's very disingenuous. But go ahead.
No, they do want a guy that's emotionally intelligent, but that's an incomplete sentence. It's like you also got to be 6'5".
You're not gonna get that in the same person, and if they want everything, but if they got to pick, that's one of the first things that's getting dropped off.
Yeah, exactly. So,
like they rather have a guy that they would have a guy that's completely the opposite of that than have a guy that's emotionally like so they say that, but yeah.
Some of you guys been on my ass for talking like that Boston chick that came on fucking Jessica shit. I don't know if you've seen Jessica shit.
No.
But I was talking to her. But I've been basically getting the answers out of this bitch. But she's cool for what she's worth. But like at the end of the day, she just said it straight up. The only power these women have over you is the children you give them. Stop giving. Women don't care about marriage and none of that shit. Relationships. Stop giving these bitches babies.
Yeah.
Like that's
but for the most part, they're not getting them. Like they're having it. Like again, most black men are not having these kids. In fact, it's so bad that now a lot of them are jumping the race in order to get access to these kids. And this is why they're always showing up with some bottom shelf Brad, as far because ain't nobody really giving them kids like that.
Exactly. Everybody knows the hustle. I call it the single mother hustle.
Yeah, that's what nobody really wants to talk about. And like I said, BGS did that video talking about who's siring kids. Black men, and see, those are the older. Remember, we still have the generation of black men that had like 10 kids and shit. Technically, Kevin Samuel's generation is still alive. And in Kevin Samuel's age group, they were still having kids. Once our age group starts to get older, like in the 50s and shit, like that number is going to plummet because we're not replacing those kids. Like technically my mom had like 3 kids and we haven't had any yet amongst our 3 sons. So motherfuckers are not having kids like that. They're really not. And a lot of dudes that are married. And then, so you got what they're doing is that's why when they say they don't want to have a kid with a dude that has kids, that's bullshit because they don't really have the option because those guys have already demonstrated they're willing to have one.
Yeah, you see the 37-year-olds going with the Pookie and Ray Rays with all the kids. They're using them as a free sperm donor because they too cheap to go to the clinic.
So I mean, at the end of the day, I really did this video because I wanted to kind of show my face, see how the stuff looks with that, see how it comes up, and it came up pretty good. It's interesting. Y'all can see some of my facial expressions behind the shit that I talk. So I think that's going to be interesting for some people. A lot of people think I'm afraid to show my face. Actually, I need to get a microphone. That way I don't got to, wear this. But like straight like that, or get a better looking thing. But this shit works like a champ.
If you would have skipped ahead, they had a panel. Jessica X was on there, put some real stats on it, and really made it look stupid.
But what the thing about it is she like these women know where they can, like they're not here to actually solve a problem. I mean, honestly, she's the very person that she tries to say Kevin Samuels is. She's very inflammatory, nothing statistical. If that's all Kevin, what everybody wants to say, and everybody like this camera going into focus. Everybody wants to say that Kevin basically makes money being a shock jock and basically bashing black women. But then then you have to account for all the vast majority of women. So you're saying that you're the smart woman and all these other women are fucking dumb. Kevin has at least like 500,000 female subscribers now. Are you really telling me that there's 500,000 women that are actively subscribed that he consistently gets 20,000 listeners to? I'm talking about active, and then people coming back to it, not only on YouTube, but on Instagram. Are you saying all those women are fucking stupid and they like to see a woman just get bashed for the sake?
But you know why the real reason why they matter. You notice it's a certain age range, but she fits in that above 35 because what it is they understand that the younger girls are getting the game they're supposed to been getting that they never got. Because you can look at it with the black females that are older. They never tell them to not do the same shit that they did. They just repeat the cycle over and over, like a fucking phoenix.
I was talking to this one chick, same chick.
That's why they hate Kevin.
Yeah, she was telling me how their mothers, like these black mothers, like limit, like basically like stunt their femininity because these mothers are competing with their daughters, man. And they'll stop her from dressing a certain way, talking a certain way, being nice to older men because the same men that would want her, these single mothers and grandmothers want that same man. So they'll stop these younger women from becoming, the women they need to be to attract the high value.
Yeah, and one thing that people don't understand is they don't understand, like, at the end of the day, most of us want to see black women win, but what we're not going to do is fall on the fuck. Women are not going to win over our dead bodies.
No.
We're not going to be on our knees and then we be stepping stone. That's not how this is going to work. And if that's how it's going to work, then we're just going to go ahead and do me, and we just take our chances on our own. That's the difference. And you got dudes that are willing to do that, or they like have this cognitive dissonance. This is what I want to do though. I want to end this on, there's actually a lot of good streams. You got Red Supreme that did a stream talking about feminine fancy, which I'm about to check out. You got BGS about to do a Shatterpoint when it talked to Sierra thing with the 100 octane, and he's going to speak on Goldie Jones. That's coming up later tonight. You got Artisan on the Geekdom thing. That's another thing for y'all. Make sure y'all check. I see some of the subs on me, so I appreciate y'all doing that. We're at basically 340, so I appreciate that from all of you all. Definitely let me know in the comments section if you all prefer me to show my face more. Doesn't mean I'm gonna always do it, but it definitely I'm gonna definitely do it more. Also, so we got a couple of streams. I'll be sharing all that in the comment section. But what I do want to do, 342. So we got like good 7. So what I want to do is I want to end this. I want to show a female that I came across that was listening to Kevin. This is a younger female. She's got almost 500,000 subscribers. And she's not really a relationship channel. She's more of a like a reaction channel. And I'm gonna listen to it while you two are up here. But this is not the first video I saw her do this. She reacts to a lot of different shit. She actually reacts to Fresh and Fit as well. So we're gonna listen to that. It's only 13 minutes long. I'll listen to that while y'all are up here. And this is basically her reacting to people showing TikToks. Oh crap, hold on. I always forget to turn the volume on. And then we'll end the video with that just to end it on some positivity, because people always, you know how Negroes are. If you're not giving candy cakes, Candyland candy cakes and sweet lies.
Let's go real quick. Hey man, I talk this shit in real life. I don't give a fuck.
I talk it in real life too.
He said I'm at the bar, all these women here, if you say this type of that shit, what's up?
So
the bar is kind of packed for a Sunday, for real though. Can y'all hear that shit? I might leave in a minute, for real. Okay, my bad. I'm gonna get off.
No, it's not bad. I mean, it's not bad, but it's overwhelming, the sound. Let me see. Another reason
I'm getting the ticket real quick.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can come back to this. See, I be going to white folks area, so I do that too much.
But what killed me is how you subscribe to Kevin, watch Kevin, be mad. I think it says she lies, say she's married. There's no way she's married and doing all of this, because every girl to her age that's married, they love Kevin.
No, well, I ain't even gonna say all that, but I don't believe she's married. I'll leave it that. I don't believe she's married.
So you can hear the baby crying. Where the daddy had to take care of his
Press
Sunday.
1 if y'all can hear it. Also, this is fair use. I will put the link in the video in the description of this one. Her name is Quirky. They're gonna say she light skinned, of course she gonna say that, but whatever. But this is actually 2 females. I believe she knows her. So anyway. Press 1 if y'all can hear it. Okay.
Wednesday, Thursday, what you doing? Friday. I just keep up satisfied through the weekend.
What's the deal, y'all? Y'all know me on Perky.
And honeybee.
What happened?
What?
Why you pause that long?
Because I needed a dramatic entrance.
Well, you got it. You got it. And we back at it again with another video. We got our man Kevin Samuels. Yes. Oh, this our man, our guy. But we have, well, I react to him on my channel a lot. Not a lot, but a lot.
Enough.
She hasn't reacted to him yet. And I want you guys to see if we have the same mindset. Because y'all know I'm team Kevin Samuels over here.
I am too. He just...
Yeah, so these are younger folks. I first found her, she was, because I like to look at, you know, how people react to certain comedians that I watch, like Long Beach Griffey and shit. And women, dudes, whatever. Like I told you, all this stuff is vast. Like this chick has like 450, 400. She has a channel. She has 457 on her channel, and then this one 429. So this is a big channel. You know they getting some bread, but whatever. So let's see.
He wouldn't be talking to me like that.
This is my guy. He's
no. I just like, okay. Let me tell you a little backstory before we start the video. My uncle. Y'all know him, Uncle Bob. We like we go over their house every once in a while. I thought you was looking at me crazy because I was like, you know, it's true. We go over his house every once in a while, and it was maybe like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, we went over there, and he was like, have you guys heard of Kevin Samuels? We're like, no. He put us on to. He's like, you know, he's in a relationship, or no, not a relationship, but
I sped this up.
And like he thinks it's funny. He's like, he just be destroying these women. I'm like, okay. So we looked at it, listened to it. I was like, okay. Period. But you would be talking to me like that. But yeah, but that was now everybody knows who he is. Back
when she said him, she talked about her uncle.
He had 150,000.
Which I would.
I mean, that's still a lot, but he had 150,000 subscribers. So
she didn't just find them. So basically, they've seen him maybe like 6 months, 7 months, 8 months.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, he got a lot now. I mean, that's still a lot, but I'm just saying. Yeah, we found him
probably almost at 1 million now.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go ahead and get into this video and see if he's really destroying women or if he's putting us on.
Let me stop being in my feelings.
I see. Yeah.
Oh, I like that answer. Hold on, that was the most woman.
Okay, so let's slow it down.
Think you ever said in your life?
No, because I didn't agree with him. It's God.
Men don't like that. I know they don't. So that's what I'm saying. I literally studied politics and debating and stuff like that. So for women like me, am I just
all right, I'm
validating why you're
this shit a little bit better.
Why you're special?
Yeah, mute it.
Matter. Do men keep? No. There you go. That's all that really matters right there. Nope. See? This is what I want you guys to understand. This woman, you don't get it together, you will die alone. So your son makes something of himself. He becomes an attorney. You think that he should bring home a woman with 3 kids by 2 different dudes? I think he should bring home whoever he pleases, whoever he's happy with. Right. Just because a woman doesn't have a kid doesn't mean that you're going to be happy with her. Ma'am, where's your husband? I've turned down 2 proposals because, oh my God, I don't even want to go there. How many children do you have? I have 1 child.
Okay.
Why are you so upset that I'm telling the reality that men want? Or should you wait till you get to the level? And
remember, these are just TikToks.
Right. There's not going to be any floodgates. Why do you say that? You'll be 35 years old with a 6-year-old and a teenager, both by 2 lower earning men.
That's facts.
Why would a man who's making $500,000 plus want to deal with that?
Hey, where does that come from? Why do you ask a woman to rate?
What is my profession?
Yeah.
What is my profession?
This was with Tommy Lee.
I'm an image consultant. I don't ask them for no reason, and they know why they're coming here.
Why do you ask them?
Because it matters. What do you do? What's your profession? Because I'm not familiar with you.
She looked like she worked at a club. What's up? What's up with all them lights?
That's Tommy.
That's Tommy?
11 Hip Hop, yes.
I was about to say she's a beautiful woman.
She probably is at the club, but she got pulled over.
Oh, wow.
No, because her attitude is just, stop the wall.
All right, I'm listening.
I'm a hustler and a streetwalker.
Okay, congratulations. But I'm assuming that your looks play some portion in your success.
No, sometimes I like to trick my men. I like to go out to the real bummy and just see who I can.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Even dressing the real bummy, you can only get so low.
Yeah, Ashley.
I'm sorry, you can't.
Bro, y'all don't understand. Her bummy days be like their best fits ever, and I'd be like, Ash, what are we wearing today? Because like, I mean, sometimes we like to like match each other's energy, and she'd be like, oh, you know, I'm just wearing a hoodie, some leggings, and some slides. I'd be like, okay, period. I come out in a Walmart sweater, Hanes to be exact, some pink leggings, and some Nike slippers. Ashley come out with a Balenciaga hoodie, some Louis Vuitton pants.
And I like that because I think they're related. They're the exact same skin tone, so you can't play the like card yet. Look at like one built the other.
Gucci slides, and she talking about, oh my God, I look so bad. I don't even want anybody to see me today. You got me going out here sad, and you got a whole fit on. Don't talk to me. I hate going places where she's freaking embarrassing. Bro,
I'm crying.
I always do that, and then she swears she just looks a mess, and I'm like.
Wow, that
and
was
I'm like,
so
how you
good.
wearing your hair? Girl, I'm just putting it in a bun. And it just be bye. Don't talk to me. I'm not even doing my hair.
Hey, but with no makeup on though, respectfully though. Don't get it twisted. And that was funny. Oh, that was pretty good.
Because that's fast.
I don't care about your attraction. I don't care about love either.
She's pretty too.
Why do you really think you get it all?
She's very pretty.
What makes you so special that you get it all?
They didn't get it all.
So Lauren London and Paige Heard.
So yeah.
No, we don't.
She does.
And Lori Harvey.
She do.
Well, my man, you got a choice. Because here's the thing. Here's the reality. Are you ready? The reality is what you have to negotiate with right now has a time limit. It will spoil. It will get old. But what you have today, it won't be worth the same thing 5 years from now. Because it ain't worth the same thing as it was 5 years ago. So after this is over, because it seems like you have maybe some girlfriends around or people around. I'm not saying this to be hurtful, man, but you got to tone this down and really come down. You're going to have to really ask, what do these men want that I want? And then what matters more? Do you need this, that, and attraction in this?
That list.
No, but I don't think I have to settle with the men that I don't find.
Okay, let's do it. Well, why don't you rate yourself as
Oh, sorry.
Can I use that?
A 10.
God, 7. Bro, I would be in, bro.
Oh, come on, baby.
The purpose of me doing this is, yes, like what's called said, ended on some positive shit, but it's also to show you the narrative these women will have. I want you to listen to all of the rhetoric that she said, like the violence, the sexual predatory nature, all of the shit that she said. And by the way, she didn't stand on it all. And this is somebody, and look at how they're receiving what Kevin is saying. You know what I'm saying? These women, these are women that you come on, man. So that's what I wanted to highlight, and I wanted to end this video highlighting that. That's why I did this.
Baby.
Now you know.
I have a boy.
I said 2.
God bless. So you
Thank you. Absolutely.
No. So I
don't think she actually even believes what she's saying.
Who's not under the leadership of any.
Smirgo, I've listened to a couple of her, like her react, the chick on the right. She reacted.
Oh, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about Goldie. I don't think Goldie believes what she's saying.
No, Goldie.
Like I was saying,
Goldie's in there.
Yeah, what I'm saying is Goldie was just saying shit to get her to elicit her empathetic response, like you were saying, to get a
Goldie. Like honestly,
the words she say don't matter as much as the reaction she gets from what she says, because she wants the desired result. The desired result.
And that's a dangerous female. That's a dangerous female, because a female like that will lie. A female like that will lie about sex. A female like that will lie. And I'm not. There's a couple of women that used to be in this space that were like always like when Game Changer went through what he went through, they were like on that side, and those are dangerous women.
It's because women know that they have this.
I don't use my height as a crutch. What are you talking about?
So here's what women do, because women use their victimhood as like this right.
Yeah. Hold on, because I want to finish this. So
okay, my bad.
Mm-hmm.
Any man is capable and qualified of leading a boy into masculine manhood.
No, I absolutely think it's a hard job. Absolutely.
No, I ask you, is it okay? And the reason so many so many of our boys are so soft today is because so many women are like yourself, not under anyone's leadership. Why didn't you marry his father?
But do you think that was
why didn't you?
No, why did you? I want to know.
Yes, it's your problem. Yeah, it's your problem.
No, it's my problem.
Why didn't you marry his father?
He a nerve.
I didn't marry his father. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. That was my decision. I was younger at that time, and that's still not.
If you ranked yourself,
I still didn't get the answer.
If you ranked yourself, let's go.
And
oh, wow.
Yeah, let's get back to reality. No, you're not in reality.
I'm in reality.
You're not in reality. If you're gonna be a 10, we can end this because that's not reality. You're not a supermodel.
So what do you think?
You're not okay, man. Check the attitude. Check the attitude. Let me just go ahead and say this. This bullshit that's running around with black women, they call yourself a 10, never say you don't. That is some of the most destructive psychobabble that's going around.
Psychobabble? I'm using that.
Well, you see, Kevin, I come from inner poverty, and I wasn't raised with much, but
fucking Manchurian candidate talking, bitch.
What I deserve in my life.
Deserve.
Yes.
Tell me why you deserve what somebody else has.
I never said that.
But what do you mean? Tell me what you deserve.
I deserve money because I'm intelligent.
What?
So, every intelligent person, are you a member of Mensa?
What's Mensa?
The Society for Genius Level Intellect.
Oh, I've never heard of this.
Why is she talking like that?
At what rate?
I'm dealing with rape. I'm dealing with that. What I
I'm
know.
dealing with rapes. I'm dealing with what rate of black men are married? What rate are they married to black women?
Oh, I like this shit. Cause this is like a more heated version of Goldie.
From what I was talking about in my perspective and what I see based on television, the media,
I'm basing on actual data.
You have heard of
This chick is 30. She's north of 30, talking about television and media. This is what these women are basing this bullshit on.
Well, then don't talk about it, man.
I'm gonna choke.
64% are in the middle.
Oh my goodness!
Black men in this country are 2 million less than you, marriageable. Yet we are 847,000 more married than you.
You're never gonna be accurate.
Community is living like
it's their reality. You're going by statistics in a book based on a certain audience and a certain jurisdiction.
Oh my God, statistics. That's the problem. Kevin, we just found the problem. Your dumbass is going through statistic as a book.
Black women. Okay, so audience, what I need to do is go back to the beginning of the broadcast.
I mean, she's loopy, but she's young, so you know.
My truth and subjective and
Dang, why they end it like that? I hate when they do that. That was such a good video. Oh my God, I think that was better than and Bash.
Yeah.
These women come to him and then gonna get mad. How you gonna get mad? You already know what I am. You already seen that I'm going viral. I'm on Clubhouse, trending on that.
He really is.
And you're going to, every time we go on Clubhouse, there's always a discussion about Kevin Samuels. How you gonna get mad at me because you're asking me for my advice, my truth, and my opinion for my men? How you gonna get mad? So how you feel about it? Because they know how
I like him. I love Kevin. When he talking to other people,
now,
I just remember like asking for advice.
There's some stuff that he be saying. I'm like, dang, I didn't even think of that. Let me add that to it. So you tell us the ones
I'll get my advice through the people he talks to.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Because the girl, when I said that was pretty, he was telling her like, you need to bring that down a notch. Because I think with her, because I was trying to compare myself to her, like what he was saying to her. But I think what her thing was, she wanted, from what I was seeing, she wanted a man that is like, look good, got money, this, like she's building a list. You can't do that. That's why one of my favorite movies is Nobody's Fool, because somebody can be everything on your list and still be like nothing. Like they don't have no spark. They don't. You don't feel nothing. Their soul is not there. That's why you gotta let go of that list.
And I mean, it's good to have standards, but like everything based off of like a list. Okay, check.
It's unrealistic. You cannot get everyone on that list. And if you were to get everything on that list,
I just wanted to show that. I want y'all to think. Yeah, exactly, Carlos, with the dialogue. I didn't want y'all to think that, oh, I'm just gonna talk some shit of some random female saying some nice shit about Kevin. I want y'all to understand they're actually interacting with the information. And even one of there's chicks, y'all said she got a face that looks like Aisha Curry. Yeah, she does, and she's big, but who knows? She's happy with herself, whatever, you know. But she structurally has the facial stuff where she could probably do something. But this ain't about that. My thing is, you see women interacting with the information, and honestly, you could call what Kevin does entertainment if you want to, but it's entertainment in such a way that actually sparks a necessary conversation. And that's ultimately what a lot of what we want to do. We want to do that with men, you know? And you have too many people trying to just push back for the sake of pushing back. And then when you actually say, okay, so what's up? They ain't got nothing to really say because they're just mad to be mad. And they're having an emotional reaction. And so you let people say more of that is happening than what, than of women that have an attitude with Kevin, because you don't get to 1 million subscribers with like women. Like, do you understand? Like, women are not going to subscribe and actively listen to a channel constantly of motherfuckers just bashing women for the sake of bashing. That's just not how that happens. So what you really have is just people. I mean, even when you look at Kevin Samuels like and dislike count, it's overwhelmingly more likes than dislikes, even percentage wise. So at the end of the day, more of that is happening. Now, granted, you could you could probably pull up a whole bunch of Kevin Samuels reaction videos of women having their emotional bullshit. And I'm gonna keep it real with you. What I might do, I don't know if I'm gonna do this, but I might search out Kevin Samuels videos where they're negatively reacting just to see, are they just gonna have the typical emotional argument? It's harsh, there's a better way of saying it, because you heard Concrete said sometimes you have to hear it that way. And yes, the human condition is you have to hit rock bottom, or somebody has to tell you something in a way that you're going to move. So anyway, it's been a great video. We went on 3 hours. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope y'all enjoyed me showing my face. It's probably something I'm going to do going a little bit more and more going forward. You know, I'll probably minimizing the cussing and all of that. 'Cause I ain't gonna lie, I was going in, and I don't want to be known for like going in like that. But absolutely. Appreciate the super chats from everybody. Appreciate the cash apps from everybody. You know, shout out Spurgo one here. And yeah, with that being said, this is Edward signing off. Peace.